put up some thumbnails. Let's do this. Go live on the YouTubes. We got this, Taros. Come on, bud. Let's go. We're going live. Yeah. Go on. He's just looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Hi, buddy. We got this, Taros. We're gonna go live. We're gonna do a stream. We're gonna talk about shit. It's gonna be great. It'll probably be mildly okay, but that's as much as I require for, one of my streams. But it'll be mildly enjoyable at the same time. So, anyway, let's see if anybody, comes by and hangs out. We'll give it a minute before, any form of, giving up hope die out and, go to sleep instead. I don't know. Either way, we'll see if anybody comes to hang out in the stream. I'll get things all prepped up and ready. I'm going to post out some links, see who comes to hang out, see who might come to chat. We got a lot of shit going on this week. There's some big hype all revved up. I'm pretty stoked. There's another week until Fairy Tale chapter, but I can take it. I can take it for the amount of hype I have for this next chapter. But let me tweet out, and we'll see how things are going. But other than that, anybody who might already be here, how are you today? How are you guys doing? What's going on new with you? Just give me a moment. I'm going to post up some links, and then we can get to talking and see what's going on with everybody else. See what exactly is all revved up and ready for I guess whatever you guys got planned. Okay. Now, Aldoron up. I've got a couple theories I'm gonna make probably over the course of this next week. Probably mostly on Celine and the whole mystery of this bitch. But with that, I still want to spread things out to actually make it so it's not just like me just hyping it up all within the 1 week. Probably maybe like 2 or 3 over the course of this next week. But at the same time, I gotta find some filler spots because there's not one this week. I don't think there's anything on break otherwise this week. Well, it's not on break for Fairy Tale. It's bi-weekly. It's scheduled. Let me post that link on Twitter, and then and if you have anybody post any questions, anything they want to ask me, then we'll get a little preemptive. So 1 second, I'll just say so much hype this week, revved up for some insane chapters over insane events over these next few chapters. What's up, JK Network? How's it going, man? How have you been? I'm just posting up on Twitter the link to the stream, putting out a tweet, and hopefully seeing anybody that wants to come by, anybody that wants to come hang out for whatever goes on within this week. We still got some series that are still up and coming, some stuff that I am hoping get bigger. I'm hoping Guardian of the Witch gets bigger. I'm hoping that manages to really pick itself up, kind of gain more of an audience. But we will see. It's definitely one of those series that I think it's going to be a little slow in the beginning. But I think if it can make past the axe line, then I think it'll really just lay out like a lot. Because the idea of it all set up is already really interesting, and there's not a lot of apocalyptic mangas, I want to say, kind of like survival almost. And with Attack on Titan near its end, it gives it kind of like not a lot of like an open market to a competition that doesn't really show up. Because like I said, I mean, really, what other like big survival series can you think of besides Attack on Titan? And Attack on Titan is not really much of a survival series at this point in time. It's more of like this big world event series, I would say. Moreover, it's been good. That's good. Glad to hear. I think Shiki will kill Jack and Joe when he comes back. I don't think he'll kill him. That comment that Shiki had about wanting to help him, about wanting to be his, pretty much give him a friend, is when he talked about like his whole like ideas of like how he did think friends were like important. He saw it more of just like some social construct and stuff. I can see Shiki really kind of putting the idea of why he's like this on this, like, you're alone, and we'll probably find out what reason within Drac and Joe's backstory what the reasons in Drac and Joe's backstory that will tell us why he's like this. Oh, there's I wanted to say which somebody on Twitter is the one that colored this page, and I wanted to give him a shout out since generally when if I use something like someone's color stuff, it's like something I find on like Google, and I'm just like I have no way to really tell them, but I can really quick if I can find the image, or not the image, I find the person that posted it, I can hopefully get them and give them a little shout out because I do like this. I really like this panel, and it's not like what's weird is it's not that I don't want to say it's not that different. It's not that like new of an angle. Like when we first saw Aldoron, he leaned up. It was okay. Here's this. It's Wendy Belsarian on Twitter, and their hashtag is at or not hashtag. Their ad is I love Carla. I don't think I've ever talked to said individual, but well, I've interacted with them shortly. I've never had like a deep conversation. Um, regardless of which, I appreciate what they did because I do like this panel, and it's just that massive size of Alderaan. When you saw him just kind of like just wake up and then go back to sleep, and then now he's just revved up and roaring. It's gonna be great. It just like it's such a really interesting kind of like contrast of the two panels. Like one is he's just whatever, I'm awake, and then the next one is just him like revved up, shouting, splitting mountains up just from the volume. And then one thing that like I don't think was really talked about by many people was you can see this massive accumulation of storm clouds, like dark clouds all around him. And then when he yells, even in this panel, you can see the clouds all dispersing. That has to have a lot of power. I want to look up to see like what energy levels you can get. I don't care. I'd say I take calculations as more secondary than anything, but it's still curious of what you would get. I mean, it's probably nothing that he doesn't already scale above for characters below him and what they've done. I hope Joe becomes a recurring villain and not killed off. Well, I'm hoping he becomes more of like an independent character that can end up joining in the cast and in whatever adventure if bribed right. Because even though he's a bad guy, I think he can. I think for him, it'll depend more on how you talk to him and how you kind of like put it in his best interest of whether or not he's going to be out on top with whatever profit he can get from whatever adventure they bring him into. Beerus versus Natsu. I mean, what's Natsu gonna do? I mean, Natsu's got Hack's Fire, but isn't Beerus like able to easily just blow up the planet like nothing by like laying down on it or some bullshit? Beerus versus Broly. I'm putting my money on Broly. Does the new 100 Years Quest chapter actually come out with this next week or the week after? The next chapter is a week from now. So the next chapter. Let me see. Oh, I have a background. It's got fairy tale music now. The next chapter I think is on the 10th. Yeah, I got a wallpaper. What is it? Wallpaper engine, and then I've completely forgot that anytime you pull up any desktop stuff, it plays that. But yeah, it'll be next week because it's bi-weekly. We got a chapter this week, so the next one we'll get is a week from Tuesday. What's up, King Sinbad? How's it going? It's Rex. People theorize that Sylph will die and will give Jin the motivation to join Shiki's crew. And it'd be weird if she died. I mean, it's something that is possible. There's nothing really to go off when it comes to Sylph. Like she has kind of like the lowest amount of I want to say like skin in the game right now for Drac and Joe's crew, because Daichi and Fi, they're kind of both pretty scummy bad guys. I can see them easily getting killed off and just being forgotten about. When it comes to Laguna, it looks like maybe he'll end up becoming an ally. Sylph is just kind of, I don't know. I feel like maybe Sylph will become this kind of more of like a roaming character, and maybe Jin will join up with them in order to try and find her or try and figure out what he needs to do to help her. I could see her joining their crew. I mean, like her dying wouldn't be that surprising. It would just be more of like, all right, then what is Mishima gonna do with this? Where's this plot point going? What if Shiki is God being because Mother is a goddess? So I did a video on it. My theory is that Shiki is like a planet that was made into a person, like some desolate planet that maybe the people on it went. There was maybe like some war, and they were driven to it led to genocide, and maybe he was just some lowly planet, or lonely planet, not lowly, that was fixed by Mother and made into a person. And that'd be a really interesting thing. Plus, it would add into like Shiki, like 4 seasons on a planet. It would have like the whole gravity aspect in there. That'd be really interesting, and obviously planets with their own gravity. It's a weird one. My other theory is maybe Shiki is a member of some like weird race, some like lost alien species, something like that could really help him. He's gonna have something about him that's weird. Like Haru was part of the lineage of the glory like royalty family. Natsu is a like pretty much a living corpse demon dragon. And we don't know the specialness about Shiki, and it has to be something enough that Ziggy decided to pretty much take him in. There has to be a reason in there, and if it's not a personal reason somehow to Ziggy, then I think it's gonna have something to do with Shiki specifically, something specifically about Shiki that's special. And I know Leaper's a possibility on how to save Shiki and the crew, but I don't know. I think it would undo a lot of stuff that'd be valuable, like Shiki's moment telling Drac and Joe right before he shot him why he's losing an arm. I don't see it being undone. So I think Shiki being alive by, being like revealed as some strange species, that's the line I would prefer. If it wasn't for like important character stuff that was laid out, I wouldn't mind like a Leaper like build back and then try and figure out how they can get out of it. Her trying to like fix things without like messing with the time stream. Sinbad and Satoru the same person? I don't think so. I don't really see anything in Sinbad about that I see in Satoru. Beerus versus Zeref. Does Beerus have any real hacks? Because I guess it would depend on the Zeref, because Zeref has a lot of hacks, and obviously Beerus has a way higher power output. But if Zeref can absorb infinite energy, like it may sound a little wankery, but I don't see why he wouldn't be able to, in some way, mess with some Beerus attacks. Obviously not the physical powers, but if he could destroy him. But then Zeref is also cursed by a god, but there's a lot of crazy hacks in Fairy Tail that it obviously wouldn't work on him. I don't know, and obviously like stuff like time stop, soul ripping, like Zeref's got a lot on their plate too. That's a weird one because obviously it comes down to very high power output and then like very hacks, broken character. Drac and Jad, I hope he becomes a recurring villain. Yeah, me too. I like him. Gosh seems to be the only character thus far, aside from maybe Yuno, who can do a combinational attack with Asta. Yeah, the Mirror Brigade, I'm surprised it works on anti-magic. That's still a really weird thing for me. But it's like the mirror world and not like he's like making magic clones. I don't know. I still think that's a very strange thing. What's up, Dabs for days? How's it going, man? What's up, Jared Punch? Shiki did not deserve a death at this brutal. Oh, I don't think he's dead. I think he'll get up. Naruto versus Natsu. I gave my opinion on that. I still did give TLDR. I'd say Naruto more often than not currently against Natsu, because the thing about it is Naruto has like a higher. He's got like a higher straight level of power he can access easier. But really, Natsu's fire counters a lot about Naruto, because like Rasengan, it gets burned. The Shadow clones, they're chakra clones, they're gonna get burned, and like obviously large AOE on those two, like clones are gonna kind of be fucked. But once Natsu gets the Dragon God level, I'm like normally Naruto's gonna get his ass kicked. But that's not right now. That's in the future. Tamayo is laughing from Afterlife so hard. Well, she's like the biggest character right now in that whole thing. She's done the most. It's not Tanjiro. Like, they're gonna win because of her, and like how this concoction that she made up in order to that she devised in order to take down Muzan. It's funny how Shiki said he'll befriend Drac and Joe since he doesn't have any, and if it was Natsu or Haru, the situation that I just told Joe. Well, no, Natsu would have been, I'm going to completely stomp you into the ground. Haru would have made it out more like a hero. Haru would have made it out more about how, he would defeat him, and, he would bring, like, hope and peace, and he would, bring a light to help all these people and fix this broken, like, land. He would do it more like a hero. Natsu would just be like, okay, you fucked up. We've got beef now. It stopped being like, oh yeah, we're going to fight, and now it's personal. And he would want to just stomp him into the dirt. Shiki I think sees more of the damage that he's gotten into, and wants to help him. And I think that's going to be the thing that it differentiates between him and Natsu and him and Haru. Haru would be more focused on helping the people. Natsu would be more about like it's like, all right, I'm not gonna let you say that shit. You're not doing what you just said you're gonna do. And Shiki wants to. I think Shiki's is gonna be more on like the emphasis, like I said, of him um, being more of a commanding figure, being more of like a man, like a man of the people. I want to say, not even the people, really just a commanding position, and how he thinks like the reason this guy is the way he is. Because like with yeah, because he out of the three of them, he's the only one that's like kind of supposed to be the leader of his crew. I mean, Haru. I mean, obviously with his crew, he was the main character and he was like the focal point. But there's not a lot of times where it was made out like he was the big boss of the crew. Natsu, even though he's the strongest of his crew, Urza's the authoritative figure. She's pretty much the one leading the charge. And when it comes down to anything that's more of like intellectually like set thinking, planning, and stuff, that's down to Lucy. Natsu's more of he's the big heavy. He's going to be more there for like the combat. He's there for trying to fight the bad guys and stuff, protecting those around him. He's got his own stuff, but the roles like differentiate between the three pretty well. Shiki, a planet like Starlord, Peter Quill, Dad, who's Ego, and Living Planet. I don't think his dad is supposed to be Ego in the comics. I don't know much about Peter Quill. I'd have to look into. I think that was a movie thing, but I think it's just like a planet that Mother decided to help and remade into Shiki, something like that. I mean, Hakai is like the only hacks he's got, but that's like a close range destruction power. I mean, it's pretty basic even for like some hacks. I want Akira Ishida to be one of the voices. Doma fits really well. Yeah, that'd probably work. Where was I? I lost my place. They were both born OP and changed the world to a degree. Do you think Mother will revive Shiki? No, I think Shiki's not dead. I think Shiki will get revealed to be some form of weird alien, some form of like special race, some form of like lost civilization, possibly. That'd be really cool because that is one thing that had like it didn't have some form like in the idea of like a species, not from like a planet or anything. Because Haru was from a destroyed kingdom. If and even though like the differences between them, maybe Haru's was never emphasized on him being like the a lost prince of the Glory Kingdom, the Glory family of the Kingdom of Symphonia. Whereas that could be more of a focus with Shiki. I like the planet one more though. That's really real cosmic, real trippy space stuff. Beerus easily collapses. Beerus stay to be able to destroy anything. I mean, Beerus is constantly like a goalpost moved character. That every single time when you think, oh, like kind of like the layout, like how strong he is, it just moves it again back for some reason, and they're somehow never like they should be above him by now. Anybody like Goku with Ultra Instinct was blowing Beerus's mind in the partial version. So Jiren should be absurdly stronger than him, and then obviously Goku by comparison. Broly, I don't know. Beerus can erase people from existence with the Kai. I mean, that's pretty much it, and it's a close range like frontal attack that you can counter with a lot of other hacks. That's pretty much all he's got. Beerus is way faster than Zeref, so he can blitz him. I mean, Zeref can stop time. Why does he need to get... What does it matter if he gets blitzed? He can stop time. I'd say it's a weird one because it's straight raw power and it's straight raw hacks. And a lot of Zeref's hacks are pretty broken. I mean, even like ones that he got from... he should have, because one thing we do know about Zeref is he knows specifically all the black magics in the series, which includes the one we saw from Mary, where he can just put a flesh-eating virus directly into your head. And as we've seen with Dragon Ball, it doesn't really matter what your power level is, because, stuff like that is going to kill you, like when Goku had that heart condition and shit. Just saying. Plus, I think Beerus... Isn't there a part where Beerus gets sick? I don't know. I don't really care a whole lot about Dragon Ball. Beerus destroys ghosts and souls if he wants to. Has he ever done it, or is this an assumption? Do you think Shiki become a planet level by end of series? I have brought this up before. I would prefer it if Eden Zero's big power stuff is from like weapons and ships, and the characters themselves are more centered around having tricky powers. They're more centered around like with Dragon Joe. Like he's got a very hacks, very hard to handle ability, But then when it comes to like his level of power output, his what flexes when it comes to his, like I said, power levels, is that he's got this really big ship with all these resources. I think it would just be pretty cool like that, and it would really complement the sci-fi fantasy kind of style. I think that Captain Connor will show us Ether Gear soon. I'm hoping he's actually really powerful. New My Hero Academia villain in the movies voiced by Johnny Bosch. Oh, that's cool. Johnny Bosch is pretty top tier. I just watched the new Code Geass movie last night. That was great. I watched the dub one. I prefer the dub. Lelouch's Japanese voice is very strange. It's way too deep. I don't know. It's my opinion, though. Part of me thinks that Jin's backstory may involve the Doctor. That was in Hermit's backstory. Possibly. Maybe that's why he's a cyborg. Lucy versus Sakura. Lucy's a million times better than Sakura. Amaterasu versus Natsu's Flames. Natsu's Flames are way more potent. Amaterasu's heat level is pretty inconsistent. I mean, what's the biggest feat that he's got? I mean, Natsu's biggest feat, he burnt time and he burnt infinity. Agony versus Dante. Agony can stand there and kill Dante. Dante is powerful in Black Clover. Dante is not powerful in Fairy Tail. Not even close. What's up, Gravity Dragon, man? How you doing? Oh, did you change your name? You're Rent, so I'm trying to remember who you were beforehand. Wonder how Megumi gonna react to seeing Toji. Man, that's gonna bother me if that happens. I'm hoping Ino defeats him before that. That's gonna give me some upset. I'm already mad at these guys for using Toji's image just frivolently. I mean, obviously they don't know him, they don't care, but at the same time, I care. Just really quick, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would maybe thumbs up the stream, like the tweet, retweet it, so we can get more people here to come hang out. Give a thumbs up, friend the like button, a little thumbs up there, right? It's near my guy's knee on the screen, and I don't expect anyone to, but I figured I'd just show really quick. 80 donations for super chats are appreciated. They're not required. But anyway, back to it. I hope Eden Zero is animated by Photowall. I'm just hoping for a solid animation studio. That's all I care about. I don't need it to be super mega top tier. I just want it to be consistent and good, to where we don't have like horrible sketch scenes that just look like MS Paint. I mean, like, I do really like what the Black Clover anime does. I like that you still get like the scenes. I'm like, oh man, some of this does not look very good. But obviously they have a rough schedule. But I really am happy that they put a lot of effort into the important scenes. The parts that the fans who have read the manga are going to be really hyped up to see. Like really big, intense, arc-ending moments like this stuff. Like big final battle, like final blow on the opponent, on the big bad guy kind of thing. I always love that. It makes me happy. And I'll be very happy if we get some of that. I don't want something that's just inconsistent. That last season of the Fairy Tail anime bothers me in a lot of areas. So if we end up getting a 100 Years Quest anime, I would like a good animation studio or them just to not do it. I really don't want them to give it some lackluster anime that just barely looks like they put it together. And I don't know the circumstances for the animation team. I can't say. I don't know their schedule. I don't know their manpower. I don't know their budget. That's different. But well, I guess I can be mad at the overall studio that funds it and doesn't give it the love it should. It's not the people on board's fault. They can only do so much, but still. Rex, seems like Shiki's personality will change when he's revived, like more serious. Well, yeah, we got to figure out, was that dream that Rebecca had, was that a straight vision of the future, or was it supposed to be vague? It could be a lot of different things. It's a really weird when you have a dream. You can have it as like I don't want to say soft canon, but kind of like this idea that it's partially set up. It's not for sure gonna happen, but it's like loose. It could easily kind of come up like that. Like I remember Carla's vision right before the Sirius Island. Those events happened. They weren't exactly the same as they were on those panels, but you got the gist of what was going down, and it didn't. That happened pretty much pretty much the same way it should have. Pseudo Shaft might be a good studio. I just need a good studio, man. Eden Zero needs Madhouse. Well, Madhouse isn't as good as it used to be. Someone like Bones, but I don't know if they're going to get Bones. What I want for Eden Zero, I had to look into studios, but I want a studio that will put a lot of emphasis on the environment. The animation, I don't need it to have some absurd animation. There are definitely parts in Eden Zero I really hope that they would do well. It's like the fluidity of like Shiki's movements. But it's the space environment that I really want them to put a lot of effort into. That's where I want them to put the most. Because Eden Zero has a lot of really beautiful, like, just space panels and layouts. Fairy Tales was more mystic, like a lot of mystical. Obviously you got the more fantasy aspect. And Rave Masters was just supposed to be very. I think they were just supposed to be really fun to look at. Just like a lot of cool, like, not glaring, just like glorious panels. Like you get a lot of like giant like machines and stuff, like monsters and stuff. It was just really fun to look at. With Rave or with Eden Zero, the space aspect makes for a lot of really beautiful, really good, beautiful backgrounds, especially when they're colored. Let's see. Dante gives zero fucks about during the fight with Asta. Oh yeah, I think he's silly playful. He's silly playful. He's not gonna go serious on him. Do you think Gildarts will show up to help with Aldoron? I don't think Aldoron. I think he has the potential to show up later. I don't think they're gonna beat Aldoron. I think they're gonna have to leave. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think Fairy Tail all combined is gonna do anything to Aldoron. I don't think they're gonna do anything because the Natsu's crew is by far the strongest team within the guild by a lot. The only characters there that are very powerful that aren't like within the main cast are Laxus and Gildarts. And I would say, arguably, easily actually, that Dragon Force Natsu, during the point he's in Dragon Force, is the strongest member of the Fairy Tail Guild. And we didn't see everybody bust out their biggest stuff, like all their biggest forms during the Merce Phobia fight. But Merce wasn't even at 50%, and they couldn't even scratch him. He was ragdolling these guys. So I don't see Aldoron being, Aldoron up and out, like being threatened by them. I think they're going to have to retreat, and Aldoron will be a battle for a later day. We will see, though. I mean, maybe they'll figure something out. I don't know what it is, but at the moment, the idea of them beating Aldoron, I don't think is going to happen, personally. I already read that. Do you think Eden Zero will be a longer running series than Fairy Tail, including 100? I don't think it's going to be longer than Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail has a lot of stuff to work with going further. I mean, obviously Eden Zero was space stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of nearly as much stuff set up that we could still do. Like Fairy Tail still has stuff like Ankh Saram, the Abyss of Magic, the One Magic. Those are just stuff I can think of the top of my head. All the different countries. If you look at the map of Earthline, there's multiple countries that have never been explored. I mean, really, other than like certain parts where you dip into them, like in going to Stella or Veronica, there's not much that we can really say, oh yeah, they know much about this country. I mean, we didn't even get a whole lot over in Alakatasia. Now we're on Giltina. We know more about Giltina than we do of anywhere in Fairy Tail outside of Fiore. I mean, but that's just how it is. There is world building stuff, but it's mostly outside of the main series. It's in a lot of the spin-offs, which makes the spin-offs really cool. But there's a lot more to kind of go with. And obviously you have stuff set up like next generation stuff, like any of the ship characters, future offspring. And I think Hiromushima said he wanted Eden Zero to be a shorter series, which I can understand. It would make sense to me more for him to make more of these smaller series, but keep Fairy Tail alive because Fairy Tail is by far his biggest series. Like what's Fairy Tail? Just the main series that it's like 72 million volume sales. Like the main series ended in 2017, and 2.5 years later, it sold another 12 million volumes. That's pretty good. Like, Fairy Tail's still doing really well. It's probably a good couple million more if you factor in the spin-offs. And then when you factor in like Wraith Master and stuff and Eden Zero, you're gonna have like 100 million. But Fairy Tail has a lot more content to work with, I'd say. Jake never. It's not at me. Dante gives. Okay, read that one. He's in Mass. No, I read that one. Studio Chef read that one. When do you think Gia, agent from Digitalis Amira, will show up on the Bellows goer? I want to see more of like just any of the government guys. We don't even know what Justice like really is about. We don't know anything about him. We don't even know what that what was that guy? Was his name Jaguar? It was Jaguar or Cougar. I think it was Jaguar, the old guy. It was Jaguar or Cougar, but we don't really know anything about him. We don't really know anything about that entire organization, and we still have 5 other Araskas's Galactica to deal with. We don't know if any of them are going to be as big as like Drac and Joe, but they still obviously exist. There's definitely stuff to work with, but we don't know the extent that it's kind of gonna go out. There's definitely a lot of potential for Eden Zero though that we can really kind of like lay out like a bigger story, but we'll see. Natsu's physically stronger than faster than Asta and Meliodas. Yes. Well, physically like well, he has higher striking ability, but if you didn't factor in like striking, like he doesn't have a lot of. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if you have like straight lifting up stuff physically, because when it comes to just like lifting something up like straight like muscle strength just by itself, I would give it to Meliodas. When it comes to like striking, it's definitely Natsu. I mean, Natsu's shattered oh my god, I think it's Stellanium. I always try and say like Stellarium or something, but Stellanium from Stella, which is harder than Diamond, and Natsu could crush it in his bare hands. So, I mean, that alone is pretty heavy. And I know someone's like, well, Asta broke Mars's diamonds. Well, that's because it was anti-magic and it was canceling it out as it was doing it. We already know that to be the case of how he can handle magic versions, but it's much harder. Even like physical stone and stuff is going to be much harder for his swords. What do you think the best new Gen main character? Who do you think is the best new Gen main character and who looked the coolest? Well, my favorites right now are... If I had to pick, I'll pick 4. My favorites right now are Asta, Shiki, Yuji, and Denji. Those are my guys right now. Who looks the coolest just out of their outfits? I would give it to either Asta or Shiki. Shiki has more outfits, so I'd give it to Shiki. I do really like Asta's current outfit. I like his little cape. But, I don't know. Those are my 4 guys at the moment. I can see Dante only flexing 1 or 5%. I don't know about that. I think it'll be 50. It has to be something enough that we get his horns, and I think 50% is where the horns come up. So we'll see there. I think it'll be 50, but it won't really matter because he's going to dominate them. But we already know there's a huge gap between even... It's not like, 50%, it's 50% of his power. No, it's 50% of the demonic buff. But we already know, like, there's a massive gap between even, like, 15... Like, we know that there's a massive gap between 40%, 50% and 55%. I think everything after 50 is going to be a tremendous tremendous difference between like probably like every 5%. What's up, Zyguy? How's it going? We're just talking, discussing stuff. Beer's destroyed a ghost before. Okay. You don't know much. Wait, you don't know much about Dragon Ball Gen. I don't. My Dragon Ball knowledge is like a go through. I read it. I've watched through all of original Dragon Ball. I don't really care for a lot of Dragon Ball Super. I've watched GT, and then like I've read the manga, but I've read every chapter like once. It's not like with Fairy Tail or a lot of other series that I'm really into. I'll have read them all multiple times and stuff. And I could, if you ask me, hey, when does this part happen? When does Zara first mentioned? Oh, chapter 12. Chapter 12 is first mentioned. It's going on between Aragorn and the other members of Eisenwald. But if you said like, what is the first chapter that Super Saiyan is mentioned? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know at all. I know it happens. I know it was like around the time with the Saiyan saga, I think, with Vegeta. It was either Saiyan or Frieza, but I don't know. Either way, I can oh yeah, it's somewhere around there. I know it was what Vegeta's obsessed with, but I couldn't name the chapter. My Dragon Ball knowledge is pretty casual, but I don't really care a lot about Dragon Ball. It's not a huge fan. It's a little inconsistent for me. There's not a whole lot of story anymore. It's mostly just a tournament, and then there's a big bad guy going around. I like the Broly movie. I thought the Broly movie was really good because it focused a lot on Broly more as a character, and it had a lot of his backstory, and there was a lot going on with just his personal human side of things, which I thought was really good. I thought that part was really fun to kind of like work over. What do you think? Did you think that was some stuff to really kind of go over? I liked it. I thought it was good. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes down to a lot of like that, what I would consider like Dragon Ball's grouping, you got like Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball, and Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I saw Yuma tweeted Sim Raid only has 3 chapters left, but it might go a different magazine. That'd be interesting. That would actually be way more interesting. I could see. I'd be so happy if it went to if it went to Weekly Shonen Magazine instead. Where did you hear that it might go to a different magazine? I actually would love to read that. I'm curious. Because that would, if that happened, you maybe send it over there and get an 8 and 0 Samurai crossover, more space stuff. Zero versus Infinity, which is stronger. I mean, well, they're the opposite of each other. You can't really say which one is stronger. They're complete opposing equals. You have nothingness and everything. Let's see. Which chapter of Eden Zero was the best so far? I think this recent chapter. I think it was either, if I had to pick, I think that the best chapters for Eden Zero for me would either be this recent chapter or the reveal that Valkyrie was dead. I thought that was such a good moment, and it laid it out like she was waiting for her, and we were like, oh cool, she's in somewhere in the slums waiting for Homura to show up. That was just such a really good plot twist. I loved it. I thought that was really good. And then obviously this one, just because I like that it emphasized on, like, Shiki's not dead. I know Shiki's not dead. I knew he was gonna lose at some point, but I like the emphasis on, like, how he thought this was gonna be a fun adventure. He thought this was gonna go a lot smoother, and they challenged somebody that they shouldn't have. And this is pretty much how it would go back in even back in Phantom Lord if they didn't have Makarov, because I mean, who was gonna fight Josei? And they're the only person. Okay, if Gildarts just showed up, but we know Gildarts wouldn't have showed up. If it wasn't for Makarov being there to fight him, they wouldn't have stood a chance, because cool, they took down Element 4 and Gajiel, but what does that really matter if Josei is stronger than all of them combined? But obviously they had their guild master there, and Ziggy's not around. I mean, it'd be like the equivalent if Ziggy was around, and you could have Drac and Joe. He does all things, then Ziggy would step up and be like, okay, no, I got beef with you now. But he's not there. And that unfortunate turn on them is what screwed him over. Let's see. What's up, Zach? God, how's it going, man? Wait, oh, hang on, there was a comment about Topo. Well, if Topo got instruction in training, can use Sakai for long range. I mean, really, what's his long range? Like 30 feet? It's not like he's doing it for miles, or he can do it from across the planet. What is it really gonna matter when you have characters they have much larger range, can teleport, stop time stuff? Jiren broke out of time. No, hits time stop is not real time stop. His is selective. It's like an induced based time stop. He's applying it to somebody. All you have to do is break the level that he's applying, and you're done, and that's it. The time stop that Fairy Tail has between someone like Damari or Zareth is you are sealing time itself. You are not sealing it on a person. You're not affecting them. And, something like Brandish. Brandish, she couldn't shrink. Nineheart, when he was buffed up by Irene, because she was, she wasn't able to affect something of that level. It's completely two different things between applied time stop and actual legit raw time stop. I want a Fairy Tail movie. There's 2 movies. You want another movie? Because I want another movie. Nothing is worse than Sentinel Sin Season 3. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. It's not even one of those exaggerated bad ones. Rack Chapter 3 kind of blew up Eden Zero manga, but I feel kind of weird about it. Yeah, it was super weird. It was very out of nowhere. It was very dark. But that was the point. It was supposed to show them that things are always not going to be okay, and they got in a situation that they shouldn't have. They challenged somebody that was out of their league, and they played into something that they weren't ready for. It was too dangerous for them. And if it wasn't for Drac and Joe, maybe they could have won. Maybe they could have turned it around. But obviously, that one character was a big deal. Again, it's something like the Phantom Lord arc. If it wasn't for if you subtract Josei, then it's like, okay, yeah, they would have been able to do it. But if you put him back in, but subtract Makarov, they would have got stopped. They wouldn't have had a way to beat him. He was too powerful for them. Hana is gonna get interesting endgame power. She can enter from plants. I'd be like what's it, like the Godzilla Earth. Nice colored page. Yeah, it was it was on Twitter. I heart Carla, or no, I love Carla is the user. If you want to check them out. So how do you think Shiki gets revived? I don't think it'll be Leaper, and I say that I talked about it a bit in the review, but I don't want it to be something that will undo the moments up until that point, because I think that Why is losing his arm is important, and I think that Shiki's comment is to Drac and Joe is important, and I don't want those to be undone. I want those to stay in the main timeline. I want those to stay there. Even though we didn't see Gray fight Mira and Elfman, I kind of salty that Lucy didn't get to finish a fight with Mira and Elfman. Listen, Mira Jane fans should be used to not getting like actual fights. Just saying. I heard that people call Aspels and Demon Circus Tanjiro. They say that's the power of imagination. No, that's because their powers aren't real. I think his the red swords are definitely producing heat, so I can see like the sun style being actual and real with like actual fire because they heat up, so they have to be at least at a point where the metal is hot enough it turns red. Yeah, but space is different cosmos and planets. I know. There's lots in space. Gilders, Laxus, Gajo, Mira Jane are only powerhouses that aren't part of that team. Mira Jane is not. Here's the thing. Mira Jane and Gajiel, I could say Gajiel, but I mean, really, right now, out of them, Gajiel I can still see being weaker than Urza and Gray. Mira Jane, I legitimately put Mira Jane below everybody on the team. I still think in a actual full-on fight, Lucy can take her. The issue is I don't think that she has the mentality of it. I think she has a better arsenal. She has more to really work with. She's got more to kind of lay out, and she can straight copy her powers. There's a lot more she can do, and Lucy, someone who's very smart, someone who's got a lot to work with. I think in a straight 1v1 could take her. That's just a theory, but Gray 100% could take her. I mean, really, it's Gildarts and Laxus, because those are the characters that are definitely above the main cast outside of Natsu when he's using Dragon Force. I could see Gray. Gray obviously with Lost Aspect, but I'm not counting Lost Aspect into it. But I mean, really, Mira Jane. Even though Mira Jane's strong, it's not like when it's the last time she beat like a big character. She was struggling against Spriggan minions. I mean, she didn't even beat one member of the Spriggan legitimately. She beat Jacob, who was nerfing himself because he's a goofy guy. You said Eden Zero is going to be shorter than Fairy Tail, but longer than Rave Master. I could see that. 300 plus chapters, something like that. Easily. I could see that for sure. Fairy Tail, though, Fairy Tail's not just where, like, the 545 chapters in the main story and the 50 chapters under Year's Quest. You have there's multiple extra chapters that are canon. You have the Starry Sky arc, which is canon. Both movies are canon. Multiple spin-offs are canon. The Eclipse Spirits arc is arguably canon. It's kind of like wonky for me, but the Starry Sky arc is absolutely canon. I would say somewhere between 400 to 450. I mean, yes, it could go longer. We don't know. Maybe it'll go further. Who knows? Do you think Shiki will surpass Natsu? I mean, there's always the theories. I mean, the whole thing about it. He's got a pretty good power. I don't know. We don't know the big game, like the big power level ceiling of Eden Zero, so I can't really say other than like I don't know their space. There's always the potential, the possibility, but Natsu's not even at his peak yet, so I don't know. I think Natsu is stronger than Asta, but Asta's faster. No, Natsu is much stronger. And one thing I didn't bring up in the debate at the stream I had is Natsu's Dragon Force and Savage Dragon Fire should scale up to and above Lost Aspect Gray, and Lost Aspect is like a multiple hundreds times like power level multiplier, increase the magic out the ass kind of all in thing. We need a Black Clover movie. We do. The problem is wait, Rax, I hope we get more colonies other than Jaguar. Oh, Colonels. You mean Colonels, not colonies. Yeah, that guy looks really cool. A Black Clover movie, I just want to know where they'd fit into the story, or if it would just be like a one-off and not canon. Do you think the other Rax gonna say Galactica find how reliable? Rebecca's just like we don't know like the full game of why he wants her. There's still some mysteries in there. Maybe like he knows like what her like the extent of what Libra's gonna be capable of. Agumon Bond of Courage versus Agumon Bond of Courage. I'd have to Google that. I have to Google what version of that is. Xeno Black versus Archie Sonic. I don't know anything about Sonic. I know nothing about Sonic. well, not nothing. Very very little. I know he's like that version of Sonic is really powerful, but I don't really know. I think Goku stuff. Well, Xeno Goku isn't that the isn't that like the one from Dragon Ball Heroes? I'm way behind on that. I watched it for a while, but I just got way behind. I'm thinking about it, getting back to it because I still I still want to like there to be Dragon Ball, but I don't care about like Super very much. Like a lot of Dragon Ball Super doesn't expand a lot. It doesn't do a lot of stuff that enhances the world and really opens up a lot of stuff. And there's been a lot of expansion in Boruto for the Naruto world. 100 Years Quest has really expanded a lot, but really there's not a lot in Boruto or in Dragon Ball Super that I can really kind of like lay out. But when it comes to when it comes to the heroes, they have like a lot of crazy stuff, and it's like the video games. Like the video games have a lot of wild stuff, but for some reason the Dragon Ball Super doesn't. It doesn't really have anything that really like opens up a lot of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, where was I? How later in the series do you think Gamora will obtain her own battle dress? I'm hoping in an arc or two, but it's like the question is like when will Overdrive come into play? Will that be before or after the battle dress? Probably after, because that seems to be like Ether Gear peak. We don't know if there's anything bigger than that. If there's going to be anything crazier. Wait, hang on a second. Anyway, where was I? I was responding to something. So question: why is Natsu burning Fairy Heart? Zeref's Metro okay, but Laxus Red Lightning now. So the issue I had with that. So Natsu's ability to burn the fire or the magic. So the thing about Natsu's magic, we know he gains the ability to burn magic, and it has to do with the level of his flames. Logically, the more powerful his flames are, the more it's going to burn. You know, that's just something like also easy to say. Asa's anti-magic. The more powerful the anti-magic, the bigger the spell it's going to be able to deal with. Same thing with Natsu's fire of what it can burn. We already knew about the emotional flame aspect from all the way back in the Aragorn arc. We already knew way back with Eisenwald that that was a factor with his powers. We already knew that he had like ways to affect time-based powers. We saw him, obviously fine when time was stopped, both during Tartarus against Zeref and against Demaria. And I thought that so all these things were all set up and were good. And obviously, logically, if you have his fire continuously keep heating up, and the theory that it's plank temperature in my mind, obviously why his body couldn't adapt to the heat. If the heat is infinitely rising, as well as we know that plank temperature can theoretically affect time, similar to how absolute zero can affect time, the exact opposite of plank temperature, that it all makes sense in there. You have knowledge of how the power works, knowledge of that. Oh, well, logically, it would make sense why his body can adapt logically of that. He's got this already built into him logically that that's the way that heat affects time. Okay, cool. Everything here was set up. The thing I didn't like about Laxus' Red Lightning is it came out of nowhere. There was nothing really to back it. There was nothing really to kind of build up to it. And it wasn't even really like alluded whether or not he knew it beforehand. I like what happened recently where he's like, it was a freak thing. It just happened. Where it wasn't like, oh, I had this. I just busted it out of nowhere. Something like that I think is way better. One second. But I think that's way better because something like, oh, it's some form of a freak event where it happened because it was out of your control. Like it was like what he somehow uses blood magic into his lightning. How does that work? Why doesn't he mention this? Was there build up to it? If Laxus brought that up maybe beforehand, like back in maybe like back during the Tartarus arc, he talked about learning blood magic as a way to maybe like deal with this. Like, oh, I need to do something about my blood, do all these things, and then combine them into it. That'd be okay. But it really wasn't. It just kind of happened. And that's what I didn't like about it. I'm alright with something being set up or something happening against, like, when something's revealed. For instance, Beta Heaven, Slayers being able to adapt their bodies to versions of their elements that they haven't eaten before. Like against Zankro, like against Bloodmen. Stuff like that, where blood. Well, no, not Bloodman, because that was already set beforehand. Something like Beta Heaven or Natsu eating fire from Zenkro. When you have characters that are, even though before you say anything, I did really like Wraith. I did really like Zenkro. So it's not like I say this with the like not caring about their characters, but they were like example characters. This was where they were set up. They weren't big deals in the arc. They weren't characters that were really vital in the things that were going on. So they're the perfect ones to really kind of establish stuff. Something like for later, when, for instance, Gajiel eating Bloodman's demon particles, taking the iron out of it and using it to power him up. It's like, oh yeah, we know that because Natsu displayed that way earlier in the series that Slayers could do that. They could adapt their body to these, the variations of their elements that they regularly wouldn't be able to intake. But Laxus just kind of happened, and it wasn't. And you can say like, well, yeah, it was setting up there. Yeah, but that was against Wall. That was against a big opponent for him, the strongest character really that he had fought up into that point. And really his 1v1 of that whole arc. Like Laxus hadn't had a real 1v1 since the Grand Magic Games when he fought Jura. Which, man, I wish that fight wasn't so off-paneled. One second. But, yeah, I don't know. I've always just found that to be a very weird kind of like thing in comparison, because I didn't like it at the time, but I do like where it's at now. I like the way that it was built. I like the way that it was. I like the way that it kind of like was able to enhance him. It was able to kind of do a little like retroactive damage control, but still like build off it. I thought that was good, and that's why. I went a little longer than I thought on that, because that is one thing about the Alvarez or Albareth as the official translation, that I think is not played up as much as it should have. Like some people complain about like Urza's meteor and stuff. Like it consistently her armor, her Clara Heart armor and her Yodo Benizakura sword have consistently increased her attack power and speed by not doing anything to her defensive and resistance abilities. That has been consistently what it does since they debuted. But Laxus's Red Lightning just kind of popped up. But it's been better since then. If I had to pick one person from Magi who you want to be, I'd pick Sinbad or Aladdin. I liked Alibaba. I mean, he was cool. That dude had a sick sword too. I think he had a cooler journey than Aladdin. I believe because saying that Super Saiyan happens in the Saiyan saga is like mind blowing of how wrong yours. Not happens. I'm saying that it was mentioned. Not happens. I know the Super Saiyan was first happened against Frieza. I'm saying it was mentioned. I don't remember if it was mentioned during the Saiyan saga or if it was mentioned first during the Frieza saga. I just know I'm talking about it when it was mentioned, not when it happened. Because that's what fucking Vegeta rambled off like the entirety. I know for a fact he just talked about it constantly during the Frieza. I'm the real Super Saiyan. He's just some dipshit. Fucking little Widow's Peak midget. Luffy Britannia commands you kill Sheik. No, don't let him do that. He wouldn't do that. Lelouch isn't a monster. Gravity Dragon Zera, it's not me. Zeref's the one written in a book, and it's not for me. Which hero defeat do you think was more brutal? Shiki losing to Draken Joe or Luffy losing to Crocodile? Shiki losing to Draken Joe was way more vicious. It was way more cold-hearted. Like, it was like, it wasn't like I'll leave him to die, figure out your stuff from there. It was a straight, I'm going to kill you. You will die, and it's just going to be vicious. It was absolutely way more brutal. But yeah, I like Crocodile though. I know some people really like Doflamingo and Katakuri. I'd say my villain for One Piece is definitely Crocodile. That dude is underrated. If Ufo picks up Eden Zero, I'm losing my shit. I don't know if it'll be ufotable, but I mean we could hope. I need that Roger flashbacks with Ziggy. Wait, what? Roger flashbacks with Ziggy? That's not gonna happen. Roger's never gonna get any good flashbacks. Sorry, One Piece fans, but I mean, like, a lot of the hope for flashbacks is kind of sailed. I mean, you literally had Prime Whitebeard and Prime Roger, and Oda just kind of skipped over it. Like, I don't know how the fuck he did that. Like, goddamn, how you had the two biggest characters in like, in your series in their prime, and you don't really do much with them. You have an off-panel fight. So like, come on, just show it. Just show like 2 chapters. Nobody's gonna complain about 2 straight chapters of a battle between the 2 legends of the One Piece series. Best chapter was Valkyrie Death. Yeah, that one I think was that one and the last one I think were the best ones for me. 5 says in 0 moments. Shiki's death, Valkyrie's revival, Hermit's backstory. Hermit's backstory was like, Pino's backstory actually made me sadder than Hermit's, to be perfectly honest. And Shiki leaving Grand Bell, like I was like, oh man, that sucks. Valkyrie's backstory or Valkyrie's reveal, I think, was probably the saddest, just because it was made out like that she was gonna meet her, and from both her perspective and from the viewers, and then what happened, rough stuff. Weiss had it bad this arc. He's been shot, lost his arm cut off. Now his old friend Sibber's been shot dead. Yeah, he's getting shit, man. I want a 3rd fairy tale movie about Wendy or Lucy. Why would it be about them? It would really depend. It would be really weird the way how you'd fit it into the time point in time. I don't really know when it would happen. Lucy Britannia commands the abandoned mantle. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much why they did it. They're a bunch of idiots. Well, not Robin. Yeah, Robin Hill is fucking stupid. Do you think Nino or Old Wives will reunite with Rebecca and help her escape? Probably not. Probably not. Nino could be a legit reason to come help him, but I don't know if he's gonna show up. I mean, he's not a one-man army. I would like to see him show up, though. He's pretty cool. Fire Force from My Hero. I kind of want to say My Hero, but I like the plot of Fire Force better. But I really like the rabbit chick. I think she's really cool. I do like Arthur more than I like someone like Bakugo or something. It's a little hard one. I'm a little torn on that one. I don't know if I have a good answer. Rex, do you think the theory of Eden's Zero ships will come true? Yeah, there's different ones. We know there's at least an Eden's 1. Mary Jane fans annoy me because they say hero hater, or this is a hero hates Mira, but we all see is the opposite. I mean, she gets hyped, but she never gets to do anything. I mean, who cares? Mira Jane fans are always grumpy because they never get anything. Gray versus Urza. I mean, it really depends. I want to put my money on Gray, to be perfectly honest. I put my money on Gray. Who do you think Toka will do versus Natsuani? That's not Toka. That's the White Witch. I get mixed up with that sometimes too. Well, I think she's gonna get disenchanted, and then the question is like, where is she gonna go from there? Maybe we'll find out why she needed a body. Maybe she doesn't actually need one. I don't think they're really gonna be able to really fight her. I think it's just gonna be like set up the separation enchantment. I'm the only person who thinks Gray is stronger than Urza. I think Gray is stronger than Urza too. Gray wanted to fight Mira when she was weakened, and Lucy defeating her is doubtful. What the who the Kinmono? Kinmono! God damn it, man! How do you do this to me? You're the nicest guy, man. Holy shit, you're fucking wild. God damn it, man. You are insane. Did the little chat thing come up? It should have the little alert box. Kinmono, you crazy bastard. God damn it, man. I want to catch up. Let me read it. It's Kinmono for $200. Says, I hope you enjoy this, Rex. Oh, there it is.
Oh, shit. You just busted a nut.
God damn, man. How do you do this? How do you do this? I was literally thinking the other day. I was like, man, I was thinking about... I actually don't know when the release schedule for Hinoa Got Crushes. I haven't checked that. There's another one, and then Iron Hero. That's another manga I want to start reviewing on the channel. I think it's monthly. Both of those I think are monthly, and I want to jump on those. But I was like, I should probably ask him of when those are. And then the same events happened. The same events happened, man. You're fucking crazy. When is the next time a chapter comes? God damn it, man. You are absolutely wild. Buy yourself nice things. Buy yourself nice things, too, please. Buy your dog a hat, actually. What's your dog's name? I noticed your dog actually has a lot of fur patterns similar to my cat. I think yours has that brown color, though. I need him to be around. I don't see him. There are similar face patterns. I think your cat's darker, though. Anyway, goddamn, man. Thanks for the super chat. You're fucking wild. God damn. I'm flabbergasted again, so I needed a moment. I needed a moment to kind of like pull myself together. Oh my god, you are fucking wild. Why do you? I've completely halted stream because I'm very surprised. I was like, the last time I was like, man, you've donated enough for like the whole year, and then you hit me again, doubled. You've done, I think the last time you gave me like 170, 190, and then here you are, hit me with a solid 200 in one go. Goddamn, Kenmano. You're fucking crazy, man. You're wild. I'm the only person who thinks Grace wrong. I read that one. I agree. I think Lucy's strong in Mira. I do too. Hero might have watched JoJo Laguna. Is there a JoJo character named Laguna? Lost Magic equals Arcane Stage? Yeah, I would agree because Arcane Stage mages just seem to be like a weird variation wild card, and I mean really that's what Lost Magic is. They're super crazy wild card magics. Gray wanted to fight Mira when he said that she's weakened, and after defeating Lucy weakened and Lucy defeating her is doubtful. Well, Lucy I don't think would beat her of like straight power levels. I think because Lucy I think has the magic quantity to compete, but obviously she doesn't have the straight level of damage output. I think hers is because her emphasis is on the fact that she has a high level of versatility to her kit. She is very versatile. God damn it, Kenmano. Every time I look over and I see that, you're fucking crazy. God damn it. Anyway. Also, Jacob got destroyed by Natsu by fire during King Fist and had his eyes closed. He had his eyes open at that point, but once Natsu just dropped that, he one-shot him. With that, though, it's not really like the feat comparable. It's like, okay, cool, we just know both of those attacks are outside his threshold, but Jacob isn't a big powerhouse character. He is a stealth martial. He's like a stealth hand-to-hand combat kind of guy, and you take those out of consideration, and it's like he's still strong. Like, he's still strong when he's not, putting you in other dimensions, but it's not like, those aren't his key emphasis. Like, his whole thing is he was a stealth, like, portal-dropping assassin. He was a hacks recon kind of guy. He was not someone like God Sereno, who's a big powerhouse kind of character, big numbers. Where do you think rank the Word Devil among demons and Fairy Tail in terms of strength? I put him somewhere around, like, Mard Gear. Somewhere around Mard Gear's level. I don't think he's around like Bloodmin or Larcade, but something like Mard Gear I think is like a good spot. Probably a little bit stronger than Mard Gear, but Mard Gear is obviously way more hacks. Like Memento Mori is more hacks than anything in Black Clover by a lot. I don't think Asta is faster than Natsu. I really don't. Or sorry, I don't think Asta. Yeah, I don't think Asta is faster than Natsu. I think Natsu is absurdly faster. Wise versus Homura. I think Wise is stronger. Wise is very dependent on what tech he has, and Homura obviously, if you don't give him something good, then Homura is gonna beat the hell out of him. How is Lucy stronger than Mira? She's got a way better arsenal. She's got way more to work with. I mean, what does Mira Jane have? Other outside of high big attacks, she's got her macro, but Lucy's got way more. She's got multiple elements. She's got she has Ares' wool, which is straight like combat will like erasing. It just is so comfortable that it takes away your ability to want to fight. She's got Gemini to be able to copy other people's powers, so she can use other people's abilities. She has high level, like she can combine, not even like taking Stardust Mix into it. She can use one dress of one spirit. Here's the biggest combo I want to see Lucy eventually use. Gemini, if she summons Gemini, Gemini turns into her. She summons someone like summons Leo, so you have her with two spirits out. But Leo or Gemini as Lucy summons two more spirits, and then Lucy and Gemini could both put on a star dress, and you have now at that point, what is that? Two Lucys, 5 spirits, and 2 different star dresses. So you could have 7 different powers out all in the field at once, and she's gonna completely maul them. She's gonna maul them. Well, not 7, 5 different powers. Wait, right? Yeah, three spirits. Wait, no, yeah, 4 spirits. 4 spirit. Well, it's this one is Lucy and a spirit, but really Lucy, that's how she'd get 4 spirits out and 2 different star dresses. So she's gonna lay it out. 5. That's 5. Yeah, because 3 spirits powers, 2 different Lucys. She's got way more to work with. Absolutely way more to work with. Dragon Ball Super gave 11 other universes. I mean, yeah, but really, what have they explored? We just know they exist. It doesn't do anything. It didn't open anything. It didn't really do anything that really mattered. It's like, cool, there's other universes. Like, what did that entail to? What kind of world building did it give? It just says they're there. That's the same with, like, Fairy Tail. These other countries are there. We don't really have anything about them, but it doesn't mean it's world building. They're not explored. It's like, okay, cool. I don't really do anything. Do you see Drac and Joe killing Happy? I can see Happy Bot doing some cool self-sacrifice thing before the end of this arc. I'd be really down for that. Because we know he's going to get destroyed, but we just don't know how. Strongest Eden Zero member? I mean, out of the main cast? I mean, the main cast is probably it's probably Shiki or Battle Dress Witch. Those are who I would put down currently. Yeah, Homura versus Battle Dress, with Battle Dress and Overdrive. She's going to look great. I can't wait to see. So even though they didn't finish their fight, do you think Shiki full power and Jin will be equal? Yes, I do. Infinite 100% Deku versus pre-reincarnated Vito. Vito's still stomping. Because he's also got like high regeneration. He's able to shoot big energy attacks and shit. What if head of the Zenin clan and Megumi sees Toji in fight? Oh my god, Megumi seeing him is kind of weird because like he doesn't really know his dad, but that one's kind of like a weird one. If what's his name? Is it Naobito? Naobito Zenin, the leader of the Zenin clan. Him seeing, I think, has a lot more potential for an interesting conversation because him and all this is going to really open up a lot of questions, and he's probably going to be a little bit bothered by it, maybe be a little annoyed. What if Lucy with her Aquarius outfit after fighting Tartaro? She one-shots Jackal. Also, Lucy has Stardust Mix, plus she fought evenly against Brandish. Well, Brandish wasn't going all out, but Lucy's variety and the fact that she can fast switch, she's got more people, she can drop on top of her. I see it just bigger. Mirror Jane just has big damage. That's relatively it. She just has big damage, and we don't know if she's gotten anything special since then. And her biggest thing, Alegria, the second she drops it, she's only got a couple seconds with it, and then she's done, and then she's out of magic. Lucy has Stardust Mix, and she can drop it all and run out of magic, but she doesn't need to. She's got a much larger arsenal, and when you have something like Aries Wool, it's a very underrated trait that she has, because it straight fucks with your ability to want to fight. It soothes out your want to fight. It just makes you comfortable and relaxed and gets you super chill. I've heard complaints of Shiki's character, like he has too much friendship dialogue, but Shiki's whole thing is he wants to make more friends. I mean, it's super weird because Haru and Natsu both talk about friendship stuff, but that wasn't their goals. Natsu wanted to protect his guild. He was fine being friends with anybody that wanted to be friends, but he didn't go out actively trying to befriend everybody. If he thought someone had beef, he would make beef with them. He would try and fight them. Haru was a lot more chill. Shiki actively wants to try and befriend people, and though he's not just like, I'll befriend everybody. We saw with the Liga, he was not up for friendship. We saw with Drac and Joe, I think he believes the reason he's all fucked up in his past at some point is because of his want to make, or his need for friends, this camaraderie that he doesn't have that really just messed him up. Let's see. Do you think what Future-Wise's Arsenal armor will surpass Wall's Arsenal mode in terms of weaponry? Potentially. Well, I think by the time we get there, yeah, just because his is going to be way more emphasized. Like, Wall had a lot in such a short amount of time, but, I mean, really, when you have the main character, well, not a main character, a main cast member who has that, of course you're going to get it eventually. It's going to eventually, like, have way more. Like, Shiki will have a bigger arsenal than Blue Note. I mean, Blue Note, outside of just some gravity attacks, he's got, like, just some gravity attacks, and he's got his black hole. That's it. Shiki's going to have way more than that. I mean, Shiki already has way more, to be perfectly honest. It's just what happens when you have characters who, way more focused versus, like, one-time thing. I do really like Wall, though. I miss him. Rax, I think Mira's stronger than you think she is. I mean, maybe, but she hasn't shown anything to really up that. And to be perfectly honest, Lucy had a better showing in the Albrecht arc than her. Like, Lucy fought Brandish in a fight more than Mira Jane really had, because Mira Jane, the only one that she fought out of the Spriggan was Jacob, who was nerfing himself, wasn't using his stealth, wasn't using his transport. He was just trying to martial art her with his eyes closed. I mean, we already saw what full out Mira Jane was. It's not like it's like, oh well, we can't release that because we didn't know what she was like all out. We did see her go out. She went all out against two members of Irene's crew, and we saw what she's capable of, and that wasn't Spriggan level. So Igni and Beta Heavens said that Acnologia was possibly there too. So do you think that Natsu would forgive Acnologia how he forgave Seraph? I think there's a possibility there. Like, he didn't. I think he could understand Acnologia and maybe want to help him, but I am part of the club that is hoping that Acnologia does come back. There's somehow he's revived, because his soul was merged up in time, so there could be a way to bring him back. Maybe that's what LF Sari is doing with that weird tablet portal. I'm really hoping he comes back, because even though his backstory that they gave him in the anime, that Mishima put in the anime, was really good, I would love to see more of him. I really liked Acnologia. But obviously I like Zeref way more, but he got way more of a story. He got way more of to work with than Acnologia did. And Acnologia gets some really interesting stuff. The way that kind of there's some aspects that he can kind of parallel and some aspects to Natsu, as well as right now Celine and him have a lot of mirrored traits, which I'm very interested in kind of going over. I'll probably wait and see in the next chapter if we find anything about her. Maybe I'll do one sometime this week just talking about him. Similar to how the White Witch has some mirrored parts of her that are mirrored to Zeref. I think it's really cool. You have this white wizard and this black wizard. Similar, you have this white dragon and this black dragon. Well, she's not a white dragon. She's a moon dragon, but really, unless she's moon drip purple, like I like to say, then she's probably going to be, spooky moon white. I'd like her to be moon drip purple, though. I think, yeah, the fans definitely overhype her. Do you think no characters other than Natsu will have surpassed Guild Arts in 100 Years Quest? I think Gray will. I'm really hoping Gray gets way more powerful. I'm perfectly fine with Gray, surpassing Guild Arts. Gray is the only one that has the goal of becoming way more powerful right now. Dragon Slayers could adapt to other elements. Could Devil Slayers like Gray do the same? Gray did it to Inval's ice, to his true ice. That's how he did it, because that's how Slayer magic works. You're adapting your body to these different traits and stuff. You're altering your body composition to match whatever it is you're trying to become. When it comes to other elements, it would depend. The one thing about the hybrid modes that's consistent across the board is that they come from somebody taking in the element of a Slayer who has a Lacrima-based version. And the Lacrimers are transferable. It hasn't been outright stated in canon, but it is consistent. It is consistent that that's how it's been shown, and that's how everybody that's gotten a hybrid mode has obtained it from one of these guys. So if there's maybe a demon, I guess in Lacrima, maybe you could get straight from a dragon Lacrima. I don't know. I wonder what it would what would mix with ice. I don't know. I like the idea of Gray just going down with what he's already got, because he's already got a different magic with his ice make. Combining it with his Demon Slayer is already really cool, and I want him to push his Demon Slayer powers soon. I really do. Checking network card. Oh, it's not at me. How do you think Master Noah will pay out in Eden's Hero? I'm hoping that dude just gets... I don't want him to get some cool out. I want him just to get killed in some crossfire fight or something. I don't like that guy. Sasuke is self-absorbed jerk-ass. Naruto's a moron. Sakura's a bitch. What? Oh, Rohan? Does he say that? Yo, what's up? God damn it. I finally made it down to Kanmano. Kanmano, you crazy man. Your absurd super chats, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Obito versus Itachi. Oh, I'd probably give it to Obito. So everything went down the same. Could Natsu and Zeref beat Acnologia instead of the 7 Dragon Slayers? I don't know. The biggest aspect to them defeating Acnologia was the fact that everybody in Earthland, everybody that was there, and then using, everybody in the continent, ended up, fairy spheering Acnologia onto that boat. So he obviously had... he got the motion sickness, because the motion sickness was the largest aspect of what weakened him. That was the largest aspect of weakened him, and that made it so they can defeat him. If it was just them, just the Dragon Slayers, no, they would have lost. It was the motion sickness that really dampened Acnologia. When Luffy stopped Crocodile from attacking Whitebeard, he was saving him. Yeah, Crocodile would have gotten his ass kicked. Like, obviously, he can't take Whitebeard. Gray versus Sanji. Gray would kick the shit out of Sanji so bad. Sanji has not gotten a legit increase in his level in so long. Zoro has been stomping people since the time skip. The only person he went up against. Oh, and new subscriber. What's up, Dylan Leon? How's it going, man? God damn it! I'm just at the part while scrolling down where Kinmano super chatted me. It's still unbelievable. Crazy, man. But where was I in my head? Where was I? Yeah, Sanji hasn't gotten a legit thing in a while. Zoro's been stomping people since the time skip. I think personally Oda isn't going to give him the Ashura thing anymore because Diablo Jambe makes sense. Because even though he doesn't have a devil fruit, but it makes sense how the idea behind obviously he's using heat and friction. But Zoro's Ashura thing doesn't really make sense. I don't think he's going to give him that. But then he gave him the Enma sword, which is way more powerful, as we've seen. So he boosted a guy that was already powerful. And then what did he give to Sanji? He gave him a suit that makes him invisible, which... So, anybody with observation hockey, that should be completely irrelevant. Sanji has not really gotten anything much to look at, in terms of, a power increase in a while. Gray would beat the shit out of him. Gray would beat the shit out of Sanji. Tartarus Gray would beat the shit out of Sanji. Ever since then, Sanji isn't shit. Sorry. Sanji used to be my favorite Straw Hat. Not anymore. I like Brook now. Brook's probably my favorite Straw Hat at the moment. Sanji just became, Sanji used to be, he was a simp, but he got to be really cool. He got a lot of these really cool, gentleman moments and badass things like that. The part where he beats that guy up with food in his hands, and he's a chef's hands are only for cooking. It was like that noodle guy. It was a weird guy, but I thought that was a really cool statement. Stuff like that. He used to be badass, but he's become he's pretty much Yamcha in a suit. So Shiki's crew being wanted by the government, like Luffy's crew. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's gonna be a space outlaw. Also, is Urza's Dragon Slaying Blade both Sarah and Fire Dragon and Ice Demon Slaying apart from Urza's kit? She can use without Wendy to help or outside. Well, she needs to have Wendy enchant them. How long they last, we don't know if they're permanently like that. But I imagine if she's already got them set up. She doesn't need Wendy after that point, unless Wendy has to pretty much recharge them for something. I'm sure that she doesn't. But if she wanted to get new swords, then yeah, I think she would need Wendy. But the one she already has, I think she's fine with. I was really happy to get the new color one, because it was weird when we first saw the color for her dragon slaying sword. It looked the same as Lactus's Red Lightning, and then when we saw them both used in the same chapter, it looked... What was it? No, I think it was one was in one chapter, one was in the other. I had to double check, but they had the same style. But then when you saw it, Lactus's Red Lightning, has that black red color to it, and Urza's sword has it's more like a laser. It looks like a lightsaber, which makes me happy because that's what I pretty much called it when it first happened. I was like, oh, she's a Jedi now. Well, the cool Jedi, not the Disney Jedis, the cool versions that before Disney decided to crap all over Star Wars. But yeah, I was happy to see that. That was pretty sick. Oh man, crazy super chat, Kenmano. You're absolutely wild, man. Remember to buy yourself nice things too, not to spend it on me, but I do appreciate it. Mirror fans actually thought Mirror was going to fight Urza, but I mean, I would have been fine with that. I would have been perfectly fine with Mira Jane and Urza having that fight. I really wish that Mira Jane was mind controlled, by Tartarus, and that was Urza's fight at one point in the Tartarus arc. That would have been really cool, and then maybe played on her, maybe put some thoughts in her head about being, having an inferiority complex to Urza or something. And then you see her break through that, and maybe that's how she ends up becoming more powerful. But that would have been cool. It's like a forced boost, it made her more powerful to fight Fairy Tail, but then she's able to break control and then use that in order to fight them. I would have liked that a lot more, but I don't know. Do you think that we'll ever see God? I'm really hoping that Ankh Saram is shown at some point. People get upset with me, and then I get alternatively upset back at them. Is when they're like, who's the strongest character in Fairy Tail? It's Ankh Saram. even if we haven't seen him yet, the fact that we know he's a character and we know where he stands, he's the biggest character. He's the strongest character by a lot. Like even with Zaref's like very heart and stuff, he couldn't undo his curse. Even with Acnologia's abilities, he's not going to be able to kill Zaref or Mavis and their curses. Aldoron is the most powerful character. We don't know the extent of how much. If you count in like the whole Hiramashima like multiverse, then obviously Mashimir is going to be the strongest character. But strictly the fairy tale one, it's going to be Aldoron. 1 second. So I'm texting someone. One second. I'm trying really hard to multitask. It's hard to talk, and I can do things at the same time, but it's hard to talk and type at the same time when they're not the same things, because you might accidentally say what you're typing, you type what you're saying. But yeah, I really want to see Aldoron, man. I really want to see Aldoron. Got Crush comes out between 25th and 27th, end of the month. Oh, cool. So that means that did a chapter just come out? I'll have to do a review on it. I'm going to buy that, and then I want to get I'm going to start reviewing Iron Hero. Because I do want to do that. I think that series is really cool, and I would like to push some official release stuff. I'm very much up for official release, as long as it's available. I mean, I get mad at certain people, and they get mad at, like, you would read stuff off a fan site. I'm like, yeah, if I can't read it officially, that's my problem with some of this. There are series that don't have official releases. And like Najimaki Kagyu ended years ago, and there's no official release, and I don't know if they'll ever have an official release, and the only way I can read it is when they do online translations, and I'm absolutely like, I'm not gonna learn Japanese just to do that. Like, that would be super hard just to read manga. I would like to learn Japanese, but it would have to be something along the later down the line. It's not just gonna be something I'm gonna be like, oh, I learned this entirely complicated language for the sake of reading some manga. That's not gonna happen. I need something new to read. I'm going to start reading Embalming if you want to read that with me. I'm going to start reading that on Twitter soon. I've been meaning to. It's like about Frankensteins. Like, I guess it's like these undead people called Frankensteins. It sounds pretty interesting. The main character is like this dude who's just pissed off all the time named Fury. I think it seems pretty cool. I haven't read too much of it. I only read like 3 chapters. I've been meaning to for a while. Yeah, so I'll check out the new Hino Ga Crush. I'll probably do a chapter review on it later today. I had to come extra time off this week, so I'll have a little bit more to make videos. I'm lucky, actually, because there's probably going to be an Attack on Titan chapter this week. I'm hoping it's this week. Oh, there's I tried to look at my calendar, and I forgot that the fairy tale music will play because of my wallpaper background. But there's a chapter this week, so I won't have to, like, stack it on top of a bunch of other stuff. Because sometimes, you know how hard it was when Heroes was going on, and there was at one point where... Actually, there was 2 points where there were 2 points where it was like, cool, get over to Eden Zero, 7 Deadly Sins, Heroes, Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, and Attack on Titan all on the same day, and it's like, this is gonna fucking take forever. By the time I finish, it's like, sweet, it's been 3 hours. Fantastic. What are names of the manga you're gonna start reviewing or want to review? Well, I want to review Fire Force, but I want to reread the manga. I've been meaning to do that. I want to review Orient, but it doesn't have an official release, and it does not have a consistent release for translation right now. Iron Hero. Luckily I did the last review video for Hino Ga Crush. I'm gonna do the new one soon. Same thing with Record of Ragnarok. I already started that. Sorry, Iron Hero, Fire Force, and Orient. They're the ones really right now I want to set up, especially like, because I want more monthly stuff. My issue is when there's stuff that doesn't have a consistent release, because then it's hard to kind of schedule stuff, kind of plan things out, and kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. Yeah, read Embalming. I'm gonna start reading Embalming more on my timeline soon. Favorite character in Kimetsu no Yaiba? I really like Inosuke. Inosuke is my favorite in it. Where do you see Irene's character going 100 Years Quest? I mean, I see her getting a new body. Maybe when she gets a new body, she can help fight against, whatever, like Celine or any of these other big characters coming up. Hers is really weird because she's such a... Her reveal, like, made... I like the... Oh, I almost fucking fell out of my chair when I was leaning upwards. The way that she was, like, set up, like, enchanting her personality into Winnie makes sense. We know that she could obviously enchant herself in another body. We know that she could enchant personality into things, into people. There are 2 members of her crew were swords that she gave personality and life to. We already know this is one of her abilities. It was just it made sense, but it was such an out of left field thing. But we don't know exactly how it's gonna. I would love for her to get a body and just. It doesn't even have to be a fight. I just want to see a interaction between her and Celine, where it's just two of these really powerful old like smart chicks just talking shit at each other. I just the awkward moment in the room is like I just imagine like you could be there, and even though like Natsu and stuff is powerful, like you have a lot of the characters in there that are powerful. You have like the Dragon God and Irene, who is like I'd say Dragon Royalty. There's like Dragon Royalty, and then like Dragon God Acnologia tier. She's like around like where I put like Igneel and stuff, but she's definitely very powerful. And it would be very intimidating to see them just kind of like talk. Like, it would be that low key, like not like straight talking shit. It would be like how girls do it when they're just like very elegantly insulting each other while not like making it obvious. It would just be that tension in the room as it's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to leave now. I would love that. I would be so happy about that. One of those moments, and that you could see. I could see Irene just having that kind of like very low eye look at her, and maybe like, and then you have that. Maybe Celine having that kind of like kimono like sleeve over her mouth, like insults. Maybe doing that. What is that? When they have like the eyes meet up and you see like the lightning static between them just for effect. I hope that happens. I really want that to happen. I feel like Gray was stronger than Urza until came out with those speed skins Laxus. Well, I think Gray's is gonna push himself soon and overcome it. I mean, I would say right now, Urza's stronger, but it wouldn't surprise me if Gray became stronger. And obviously, Gray has lost aspect, but I'm not going to factor in lost aspect to it. But Gray has a higher Gray has a larger range to go to, because if he pushes his demon self, he's going to become a demon, and at that point, I think he'll overcome Urza. We haven't seen how far he can push that side of him, but I'm hoping we see soon. And I want a horn with icicles on it. You have no idea how happy I'd be to see that. That was so badass. It's just such a cool idea to me. Is he's got like a horn. It's like, oh, how does the horn unique? It's got icicles on it. Man, that'd be so cool. You think Muzan has a demon blood art? I don't think so. I think his is all his like cellular, like high speed cellular manipulation. But he doesn't have that now. He's kind of fucked. If Gildarts or Lactus fought Irene with Wendy's enchantments instead of Urza, do you see either of them winning? Gildarts maybe. I don't think Lactus could beat her. I don't think Lactus could beat her at the moment. Favorite? Yeah, I read this. Commence and I have a favorite. What is I already read that one. Gildarts maybe. I don't see it for Laxus. My favorite Ian Zeus characters include Hermit, Shiki, Jin, Xiao Mei, Homura, and Drake Joe. Yeah, pretty much for me too. I love Jin. Jin and Homura are probably my favorite at the moment. Those guys are great. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist goes Dark Moment. I mean, that's not fair. I think that the most memed one is when Yugi overkills Weaver when he uses Berserker Soul. I love that part. I love the dub and the subversion. I love when Yuya is against. Oh my god, I forgot their names. But when he summons Odd Eye's Raging Dragon, there's a part where it's not a rage moment, but it's an anger moment in GX when Jaden is battling Yubel. Well, battling. You can't say that. It's dueling. When he's dueling him, and he's like, I'm not afraid of my anger anymore. And he opens his eyes, and he's got the Supreme King yellow eyes. That was great. I love that part. Oh, those are so cool. Does it bother you people don't like Fairy Tail? Oh, I mean, so there are a lot of people that don't. My issue is when people don't like it, and the reason they don't like it is wrong. It's not like, oh, I don't really like shonen. I don't really like its style. I don't really like fantasy. Okay, that's fine with me. It's when there was a guy I talked to the other day, and his reason was like, I don't like, it was like, give me an example of why I don't like, he's like, oh, I didn't like that Laxus just had a tournament, big battle for fun. Isn't he supposed to be a good guy? I'm like, did you pay attention to his character at all? Did you pay attention to his character, like, to any degree of this whole identity crisis that he had? And this horrible thing of, like, how he valued power because he wanted the guild to be strong, and he hated it, being a silly in a lot of ways, and how he hated people could joke about it. He just wanted to have this powerful guild because he
he had this whole like complex about wanting to be powerful. He wanted to overcome his grandfather because he didn't want to be recognized for being Makarov's grandson. He wanted to be recognized about being Laxus. And that came to about power, and obviously he wanted to be more powerful, and that ended up spilling over into his ideals about the guild. It's just like, how did you not notice that at all in his character? It's so weird. That just bothers me. Lucy been stronger since Mira Jane, since she went up Jackal. I think Lucy just has a bigger arsenal. I think she's got way more to work with. I think she's a smarter fighter. And I mean, really, like, the gaps between what she can use versus what Mira Jane can use. Like, Mira Jane would have to use one of her bigger Satan souls, something like Alegria, to really, like, lay into this. And we only know that she can go into that for a couple seconds, and then it's over. Lucy doesn't need Stardress Mix. I mean, she's already got alone. She's got the wool of... oh, my God. Someone just posted... I think that's a real version of Scyther. Or, oh, no, it's a fusion between Marowak and Scyther. I don't know why they posted that in something related to me. But, oh my God, that looks amazing. It's like this big... I just got so distracted because it looks so cool. I love monster designs. I can't help it. I wish I could draw so I can do monster designs. That would be my goal. Well, I would love to do my own story. If I wasn't good enough to do that, if I could, like, it would take me too long. It's like, oh, maybe I could do monster designs. I guess monster designs would be the step up until that point. It would be the stepping stone goal, and then I'd want to do my own manga, but I can't really draw. How do you think Gray would have fared against Laxus? I think Gray would have also lost, but I think he would have. I think it would have been about the same, and then we would have probably seen Gray push his demon form. If Gray pushed his demon form, maybe he overcomes Laxus, but that's a big maybe. We don't know the extent that he can like push his demon self. Again, I'm hoping for something like a horn. Hoping for something like a demon horn. There's still that the whole shirt that if you go back, it was one of the chapters where it showed his shirt and it was a demon on it that looked very satanic, that had a similar design to his Demon Slayer tattoo. I am hoping. Let's see. Okay, I already read that one. Yeah, it only bothers me when the reason that people don't like Fairy Tail is when it's something that's just objectively not true, like that. It's like, no. You would know the answer to that if you just paid attention. Or something like when they always bring up like Urza beating Kyoka. It's like, she lost it though. She lost the fight. She was trying to stop the activation of Face. Face went off. Kyoka won. Urza lost. She took her down to fight. She killed her, but she was going to die regardless. She was going to die regardless. It doesn't really matter. So silly. Super silly. Thoughts on Toka becoming Laxus succeed? That'd be weird. That would be really strange. There's actually in the Happy spinoff there is a little cheetah cat who has poison powers. I want him to somehow become in the main story, and then become the exceed of either Laxus or obviously he has like he had early Laxus personality, but obviously it would make sense to go with Cobra. I don't know if he will, but I'd be very happy if that happened. But it'd be weird to go with Laxus. I don't know why I would go with Laxus. I don't know how it would really benefit him. Favorite Fire Force characters: Shinra, Maki, Arthur, Sho, and Joker. That for me too. And then what's the guy's name? Corone, the smoke guy, the dude, that's the really cool smoke dude. That guy is really cool. I like him a lot too. We haven't seen him in a while. If Larkin didn't die, do you think he would have ruled over Alvarez after the war? I mean, yeah, probably. Because he was the pretty logical, powerful character. Well, then it wouldn't have been an empire. It would have been a cult. He was a very religious, radiating character. Mira had lost to Sayla, needed Elfman to take her out. Lucy's able to drain her magic. Lucy got a little boost from the Celestial Spirit King, but I know what you're going with. I mean, Mira Jane just... I don't think Mira Jane has the feats and, like, the accomplishments that Lucy does. I'm being real. Mira Jane versus Jacob was off screen like every other fight. I mean, yeah, Mira Jane just doesn't have a lot of fights. She has anime fights. She has her fight with Mary, and she has her fight with Racer. She actually has a lot of anime fights. Well, those two that I can think of off the top of my head. I think the anime crew really liked her. You guys think you're gonna be reviewing one review? I'm curious because I need some. Oh, I already answered that. You must have like posted it way earlier, and then I finally got to it, and then asked this without getting there. What's up, Ivan? Man, how are you doing? How's it going with you? Mira Jane was holding her own against Jacob while low on magic. Yeah, but Jacob was closing his eyes. He was being silly. I think I didn't miss anything. Fairy Tail anime most likely will not return for a long time. I'm all right with, so like I said, I'm all right with them taking a while, either for 100 Years Quest or just not doing it. I would rather them do a good animation job for 100 Years Quest or not doing it all. If it's a bad animation, rather than just not do it. I really don't want more wonky animation for it. Plus, logically, 100 Years Quest should be seasonal, and to be seasonal, I think they would be able to do a lot more with the animation style. Where'd Kimono go? It's given to another student. Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? What I mean? Would you put Gray in the top 5 strongest guild members? Yes, I would. Strongest guild members would be Goldart, Natsu, Gray, Urza, Laxus. Those are the strongest 5. Absolutely. No exceptions. The highest potential I still think is Wendy. Wendy still has so much potential as a powerful character. And she's only like 15, 14 right now? Because there's at least 2 confirmed year time skips. There's multiple like month variations and stuff. She should be around 14 to 15. And look how damn powerful she is. Comparing an Ethereal Sailor to base Jackal. I mean, so it doesn't really matter when compare them further. Compare Brandish, Lucy holding herself to Brandish versus the full maximum output we've seen. Mira Jane last was against the 2 members of our squad. She doesn't have as good of feats, and she doesn't really have a whole lot of an arsenal. She just has big attacks. She doesn't really have a lot to utilize outside of that. And Lucy's not stupid. She's the smartest member of the main cast. And she has the largest... Well, she has the most versatile arsenal. Like, Urza has the largest arsenal, but most of hers are, like, elemental stuff. She's obviously got stuff like Nakagami armor. But Lucy's Ares Wool is such a underrated hacks. Like, it's defensive, but it also will fuck with people upon contact. It drains your want to fight because it's so comfortable. It gets you so relaxed that it slowly just takes away your will to want to fight. But also, it's very defensive, and she has a lot of abilities that she has one of those movesets. Like I said, Gemini, another spirit. Gemini turns into Lucy, summons 2 more spirits. Gemini Lucy star dresses one of her other spirits, and Lucy star dresses one of her other spirits. Bam, you have 5 powers on the field at one time, and she's gonna be really strong. And then she can also just like drop Metria on people, like Metria. And then, bam, she's going to fuck people up. Eden Zero anime will come out first. Yeah, I think the Eden Zero anime will come out before 100 Years Quest anime. I do hope the anime comes out soon. It'll probably be this year. Zoro's been washing except for Smile Fruit Killer. I mean, he should have beat him. I mean, he like took both him and that other dude at the same time, but he got poked in the shoulders. I'm up passed out. And Sanji has been washed except page 1 throughout time skip. I mean, and fucking page 1 was fucking off screen. Like, god damn it. Mirror Jane fans think that they had bad. Sanji fans have it worse. Well, Mirror Jane fans at least got, a little bit. Like, Sanji fans have just been getting shit on. Do you think Jujutsu Kaisen will go past after these special grades have been killed? Do you think Jujutsu Kaisen could go past after special grades have been killed? Only way to pass in the curse. Well, there's going to be more to come. I think there's going to be more, and then obviously I think Sukuna is going to get revived, and then they'll have like a post-apocalyptic world where they have to pretty much like rekindle humanity. By the way, Tamayo Demon Slayer is Aizen level of planning. I don't know about Aizen level of planning. I mean, she definitely was good at planning, but it was specifically for this one event. She definitely planned a lot. Lucy fought hard most of all. Tartarus, no magic. Natsu needed Lightning Flame Dragon to beat Jackal. Lucy one-shot a Jackal next to no magic. Well, she got a little bit of a boost from the Celestial Spirit King. But she definitely took him out. But, yeah, I mean, she's definitely very powerful. And Mitria is the strongest celestial magic. And it's only going to be more powerful now than it was back in the Tartarus arc. I mean, really. Who's bigger simp? Escanor, Sanji, Brock, or Jonathan Joestar? Oh, it's definitely between Sanji and Brock. Like, that's not even comparison. I think it's Brock because Brock has simped more and literally will simp for girls that are different but have the same. They have the same face, different. Well, I don't know if I want to see different personalities for the Nurse Joys and Officer Jenny's. Hypothetical Fairy Heart Natsu versus Revenge of Time. I mean, if you gave Natsu Fairy Heart, then he's just gonna infinitely burn him, and you could probably overload technology. I don't know. I'd probably give it to Natsu at that point because he can probably push himself into like Ethereus Dragon Force and then just have hacks on top of it and overtake him. Are you streaming on YouTube? Yeah. I don't think I stream anywhere else other than YouTube. I already read that. I mean, it gives him a boost, but like the raid suit boost there's nothing considerable. Look at when he put it on versus Zoro just casually swinging Enma without even control over it. Urza is greater than anyone. Yeah, Urza has a better story than anyone in One Piece. Sorry, One Piece fans. Sasuke, I'm forever trying to cue you guys so we can be friends. Naruto. Yes, Sasuke, become Hokage. Naruto, no. Well, he is Hokage. Naruto is the figurehead Hokage, and Sasuke is like the spec op Hokage. He's out doing stuff. I'm hungry. I want to catch up. I'm very hungry. I want to go make food soon. I'm gonna make ramen actually today. I think I'm gonna make some ramen. I've been trying to get better at cooking. I keep forgetting to buy more garlic every time I go out. I've been trying to get like I want to learn how to make my own bread. Like that, because you're not supposed to eat I know you're not supposed to eat a ton of carbs. My plan is I'm only gonna eat bread that I make myself, other than like if I go and get like a cheeseburger or something. But I want to only eat bread I make myself. So that's the next thing I'm gonna do. I bought a popcorn machine, but that's something I want. I bought a full stand-up one, not like a tiny Walmart one, not like a movie theater grade, but like one you see when you like if you go to like a bank or one if you go to like a bank or like a car retailer or something. You know, the ones that they have. Nicer, not like one of the like $60 ones from Walmart. I think it was like $200. I like it though. I'm very happy about it. Do you think Rebecca's sleeper is going to be connected to the chronophage? That'd be actually really cool. I don't think about that. That's a really interesting theory. The question to me is like, how does it relate to the chronophage? I'm still curious of like how she got it. Like we know she got a power, but like, do you think that that ether gear has something to do with like who you are, and then when you obtain an ether gear, if it becomes specifically like, do you learn specifically one type of ether gear, or is it like you unlock ether gear and your ether gear is dependent on you, like it will kind of forge itself? Like maybe that's why Jin and Self both have wind elements. That's like, oh, I unlock ether gear. I wonder what my ether gear will be, or if it's like I specifically want to learn this ether gear. And then maybe you can teach specific ones, or maybe you have to, like, learn it in a specific way. I don't know. Maybe that would be it, and maybe she'll have some connection to the chronophage. Mira would have gotten washed and Tartarus if she fought Urza. I mean, I'm saying, like, imagine, like, kind of like what they did with Minerva, and they made Mira Jin way more powerful. They gave her, like, some super demon boost. Like, they gave her, like, oh, we're gonna combine, like, if she had all of her Satan Soul forms, like, merged together. And then like, she had this like Omni Satan Soul. Something like that I could see happening. I bet that Tenka could use Asa swords, but sword user has no magic. Oh yeah, I mean as long as he's able to pick them up. Would Dragon God read Natsu's mind? I want it to happen. He should. He should be able to read their hearts and minds. The question is he going to when he gets down to it? Actually, like while looking at this picture, it looks like those are leaves on his head, but I think they're supposed to be fire. I think it's supposed to be fire that is like stemmed out. I'm gonna move the picture. Where's the picture? Just the way that it's colored. I know it's like energy. It would have been really cool if there were leaves, but I think it's supposed to be fire. Like when he's all revved up, they ignite. What's your favorite Fatal spinoff? Can you say Zero, since it's basically the main series? I really liked Gray spinoff because it showed Gray show up to the guild. It showed how he even found out about the guild. The first member that he met at the guild was actually Guildarts, which was really cool. And then the journey over, like you got to see these cool monsters and demons. You got to see like different towns, and you got to see like the Black Vox. I thought that was really cool. I think it might be Ice Trail. I'd have to look them all over again. Ice Trail or Road Knight, I'd say. I really liked Godgils too. It would have been Road Knight for sure if we got a proper fight or team up between Gajil and Cobra. It was pretty quick. I really wish that was longer for that interaction. Do you think Ignia could beat Aldoron? Yeah, he seems like he could be able to. It's like Natsu. That's like obviously fire versus wood. Natsu, like the idea of Natsu versus Aldoron, but I don't see it really being a factor in when the gap is this big between them. But Ignia, I think, could. Angstrom versus post time rift Agony. Oh, I'd give it to Angstrom. I think Angstrom is more powerful. I'm currently trying to learn Japanese for myself. I'm gonna figure. I want to learn another language, but I'm kind of lazy. I fucking love Orient. I'm so salty as no fish would. Yeah, me too. I really like the art style. I really like the cool crystal themes. I think it's really cool. Also, the time has come, and so have I. Oh, gross. Maybe Irene will steal Celine's body. I don't think that'll happen because then it's like why? Why would? Because it'd be like why would you set up this other villain, this other antagonist? I don't think she'll steal her body. I think she'll get her own. Maybe get a body constructed. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could logically make a body with like magic, especially when you have a character that especially when you know living magic is a thing. You have characters who can literally use raw magic to create another person, create a physical being. There's definitely some questions in there. Maybe we'll get like some character that he's like, oh yeah, this is a no character, nothing, not important, but maybe has like a distinct look, red hair, she can absorb into it. Who knows? Time to steal bodies like Serenor. Maybe. My boy Gajil to get special. I mean, Gajil has the best life right now. He's got a girl. They're gonna have a kid. Well, twins. I mean, he's not doing well power level wise, but I mean, he's doing pretty good life wise. I mean, he's gonna be a father. Well, they're out like doing adventure stuff. He's got his own little mini Godchills running around. If you aren't caught up on Orient, how strong do you think characters can get? I'm like at 40 something. I know it's like 70 something, and there was like that feat the first time we saw the Obsidian Princess or it's Obsidian Goddess or whatever. That was pretty impressive. I don't know how powerful they are right now. Don't spoil it for me. I want there to be official release. I wanna support it. And maybe a consistent fan translation will really help, or an anime, because then I think an anime would probably be the most likely way to really boost it. If it got a good anime, and then people like, oh cool, I'm gonna start reading this, and then we can get one. But yeah, don't spoil it for me. I know there was like some mountain level stuff. I mean, there were small mountains, but the cloud parting feat in that was bigger than the mountain destruction feat. So that was pretty clear, like this mountain or cloud piercing. I think that it sucks Mira can't compete with Urza. I mean, Minerva was more of a rival to Urza than Mira Jane. Yeah, I know. Mira Jane is weird because she doesn't really get to do a lot, but she's still a really liked character. I mean, people are really hyped just to have her around. Gajil needs to fight one of the Diablos members. We're gonna see him win. I want that. But I think that Diablos is going to become their allies. I don't think Diablos are bad guys. I think they're antagonists, but they haven't done anything evil, and I think they'll end up becoming friends with the Fairy Tale Guild. Because we don't have anything really to make them out as evil. We just see that they're trying to deal with these dragon gods. Who the dragon gods really we've seen them as pretty problematic, and the only one that we've seen is like a kind of like, oh, why would you do that? It's Mercephobia, and he's a reformed. But that's probably why it was laid out to be like, well, this one's a good one. But it's like, look at these other three. They're not good. And the one that was good used to be bad. And so unless they knew he was becoming better, why would they not want to take him out? By the way, wait, what is it? People argue that Urza didn't lose to Laxus. I mean, no, Laxus won. Urza collapsed. Laxus sat down and then fell asleep afterwards out of exhaustion. Laxus absolutely won that. Come on. Laxus is the only Dragon Slayer without an Exceed, and he's already got his... Oh, no, Cobra doesn't have an Exceed. God Serena didn't have an Exceed either. And then when you count Acnologia, and you count Irene, Elefsuri, they don't have Exceeds either. All of the... Well, no, because I can't even say all the first generation. The Dragon Slaying plan crew guys all have Exceed, but nobody outside of that. I mean, Cobra and God's Serena, yeah, they didn't have Exceeds either. They're out of Fairy Tale, yeah. Out of the Fairy Tale Guild, I can see it. But I mean, that's not, Where was I? Yeah. Imagine how hilarious interaction between her and Carla would be. I mean, it'd be fun. Definitely fun. How would you think the Noelle versus Vanica? And yes, we know Vanica would win. Well, I think it'll be more on the just the layout of like showing her powers, how exactly it's gonna go, how she's gonna have to overcome it. I mean, right now it's just gonna be like a vicious beatdown. Well, what's up, Kenmano? Mostly just talking about Fairy Tail and Black Clover. We're gonna wrap it up soon. I'm pretty hungry. I haven't had much to eat today, so I mean, I woke up. I did the reviews on the recent today's chapters. I played a game of League, and then I got to this. We've been talking for about 2 hours. Told her it's the arc of many twists, power ups. The arc of sadness, man. That was the arc of just like characters like losing loved ones and stuff. That was painful. Man, that was a very sad arc. I mean, it was really the arc where even though they won, they really lost a lot. Hmm. What do you think? He was really vicious, man. Do you see Eden Zero happy in the anime having the same dub? I'm hoping that he's a different one. The Happy Bot is one of the things that does bother me because it's not only a similar looking, they gave him the same name, but I think Hiroshima did that on purpose to kind of like build him to kill him off. And it's gonna be nice to kind of use that against like the Eden Zero haters. It's just like, shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're talking about. It's funny because like the second you read Rave Master, Fairy Tail, or Eden Zero, you know that you know that they're not similar. And what's more annoying is when you have people that say, "Oh, his art style is so similar." Rave Master characters didn't look the same. Well, that's because Rave Master didn't. The art he's most known for is the Fairy Tail art style. Early Fairy Tail had Rave Master art style, and then it evolved into what is mostly the Fairy Tail art style, and that's mainly what he's using for Eden Zero. I think that's just here Mishima's like once he got his art style really perfected, this is just how he is. And as we've seen in Heroes, we know what they look like all together. Some of the characters have very similar appearances, and some of them don't. It's just, well, when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, what about certain things like their outfits, their hairstyle, their powers, their personalities, their backstories? Just because a character has a similar face doesn't make them the same character. That's such a bad argument. Anyway, now that we learned that Vanessa's Arcane Sage, you think she will get taken? Oh, I mentioned it in my review. I think he's going to just take the whole fucking base. I think he's going to take the base with him. If Acnologia does come back to life, what would you want him to do? I just want him to I want him to become like a rogue character. I just kind of see him just wandering around trying to like figure out himself and maybe like be a little level-headed, cleared, and like figure out what he's gonna do. And unless he just decides to go back and just being a rampaging monster. I mean, I'm alright with that either. I would love him to come back. I love him. I love Acnologia. He was such a cool character. Do you think he's going to be the end game antagonist for Eden Zero? Any idea if we want them to be? I mean, we don't know. It's kind of hard. I want it to be some cool, big, like, space galactic tyrant. Some guy who's like, he owns an entire cosmos. I want to see really cool stuff. I want to see, like, some big bad guy who's got, like, some, maybe plan to, like, kill Mother or something, and maybe, like, it will end up, like, destroying the cosmos, but you know what would be really cool, actually? Just imagine, I know this is a weird one for it to be the idea of like a big endgame stuff, but imagine like a big cosmic big game hunter where they just want to like destroy the cosmos and like its creatures and stuff for the sport. I think that would be such a counter to Shiki's of wanting to adventure and see all these things just for the experience and the fun. Whereas you have a guy who'd want to do it for the fun of just destroying them. That actually be really cool. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a neat idea. Ragnar actually comes back. I already answered that question. Want more guild art since he's the strongest from the West Continent. Wait, yeah, I'd love to have more guild arts. Hypocritical shit you've heard. Yeah, people like, oh, you don't know anything about this, and then they hate on something they don't know anything about. It's like, okay, man. Gajo's going to have a good life. Yeah, he's got the most solid life, man. He's got a super solid life. It's all Acnologia versus. I think Acnologia in a 1v1 fight can beat any of the Dragon Gods in a 1v1. 100%. 100% 1v1. It's funny how Gajo, of all the people, got his girl faster in both Grey and Natsu. I mean, yeah, Natsu isn't a romantic type, but you can tell some of the aspects are there. Grey, we know that he's just. The only thing that's keeping Grey back is that he wants to feel strong enough to protect her.
Godjill's been banging Levy since at least the Tartarus arc. Or sorry, after the Tartarus arc. If you go and look right before Agil comes to Magnolia, the blanket that Godjill and Levy have on each other have the same pattern. I mean, I'm just saying they're in the same bed. They're fucking, but they're gonna be proud parents soon, so it's gonna be nice. They're not. Levy isn't some loose girl. That was her future. I'm sure they'll get married probably at some point soon. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter as long as they stay together. But still, I see Carla being jealous of Happy liking Toka. That'll be really funny. I like that whole thing with Toka in there. And I think she's a very funny character because it was very unexpected that it was going to be towards Happy. There were some theories, but it was like those theories that's like, that's a theory, but it isn't really going to happen. Like, I talked about it a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know if this... I mean, then it happened. I mean, Diablos wanted to eat Dragon Slayers. I mean, yeah, because they're getting in their way. Also, like, Guardian of the Witch is not doing too well. It's got bad reception so far, but maybe that'll change in the next couple chapters. I'm hoping it does. Zitman getting canceled. It looks like it's gonna get canceled, and that makes me sad. I like it. I think it's cool. I like the guy's art style a lot. Rebecca's gonna have it rough in the next chapter. She's just gonna be sitting in a cell. So Happy Bot annoys you. What else about Happy Bot does not annoy me as a character. I didn't like that he named him Happy. I mean, he could have easily just made him slightly different and then given him a different name and still had that character. I think he made him like that on purpose in order to make it so when his death comes, his like second death comes, it's going to be more surprising, and less expected. So we'll see that. It'd be like if he just named Elsie Urza. You could have similar aspects to him, similar faces, and similar bits to him. It's the fact that he took them, and obviously they're different. Elsie Crimson. He could have named him, instead of Happy, named him Joy or something. Glee the cat. But I think he's doing this on purpose, like, because we know that looks like he's going to die soon. Going to get a little robot destroyed. I mean, Cobra had the flying snake. I mean, yeah, but we're talking about Exceed if you count Cubelius. Well, he's got her still, but she's a person now. They're gonna get together and do some dirty stuff. So yeah, I already read that. Every manga artist has multiple works. Characters look similar. I mean, yeah. So that was one of the things that I know about Manga Stream. I got blocked by Manga Stream on Twitter, but good job, Manga Stream. You guys are gone. They said they were gonna stop translating Eden Zero and then insult to Hiroshima. I was like, oh yeah, we're not gonna. Maybe we'll start translating it when he draws characters differently. And then they did Burn the Witch, where the two main characters were just gender bent Ichigo and Byakuya. And I'm like, you guys are bullshit. I don't know what your guys' deal was. Fuck them. But I had no sight for them. Lelouch joke. Wait, what is this? Lelouch jokes about lying to Ironwood about Sam. Lelouch? What? Lelouch? Lelouch wasn't there. Lelouch would have conquered Mantle in an hour. It's Lelouch fucking Lamperouge. Do you see Elsie and Justice being on par with Drac and Joe? I see Elsie, probably Justice then by proxy. I'm hoping that it's revealed that Elsie is one of the Araxon Saints Galactica. Acting is just cool, badass design. Other than that, he's just so you need to watch the anime that gave him his backstory. His backstory is so good, it connects with so many points, and it makes perfect sense. His backstory made him so much better of a character. Shiki's a different person when he comes back. He's gonna be a little weirder. Drac and Joe is included in Best Villains Pull. I'd choose him. I mean, for Eden Zero, Zareth is still by leagues the greatest character Hiroshima has written by a lot. You think we'll get another Fairy Tail movie? I'm hoping so. The problem I have right now is I don't know where it would fit, because I want it to be canon like the other two. But why though? Aldoron is way bigger than Aknologi. Yeah, but Aknologi has his level of power output is massive. The crater that he left from Sirius Island is huge. So if you actually look at Sirius Island, there's a way to actually kind of like scale it and kind of look at it. There's an island that is near. There's a whole island. I'll do a video on it. There's a whole video I can do that's like the idea of like, this is Sirius Island and this is how big it is. I'll do a video on it, but the crater that Agony left underneath it is so much bigger than the island. It's bigger than Aldoron. He would absolutely destroy him. And this was a not serious Acnologia. Acnologia would absolutely demolish Aldoron. I think he could take any of them 1v1. I don't think there's any characters other than Ankh Saram currently that could take Acnologia 1v1 at all. Unless the END hype ends up being as much as possible. That's the only character I can kind of see, because he's also got curse power on top of Dragon Slaying on top of magic. Mereoleona versus 5 elves, Meliodas versus Escanor. I mean, yeah. I mean, the anime for Seven Deadly Sins got sad. Did Levi have Stockholm Syndrome? Well, no. She just... after the point where he blocked Laxus's attack from him, and just slowly started to kind of like get closer to him, and then that point in Sirius Island where he took her, he decided to be on her team, helped her, protected her. It just really started to grow from there. It was really nice. They have a really nice story. I love their story. It's very sweet. Of course, yeah. Zitman's going down as it is makes me sad, because I like the style. I like the art. I like the characters. I really like the whole robot exosuit thing, because it not only is it cool, but it will say a lot about these characters, because it's what they want to be. It's not who they are. Like, characters, usually their outfits and stuff will have something to do with their powers and their personality. But in Zitman, it's who they want to pretend to be, which I think is really intriguing. Who do you think is the strongest fairy tale character that Drac and Joe could beat? It's kind of hard, because Drac and Joe doesn't have a lot of power level feats. He's got hacks. I mean, I don't think he'd get very far, to be perfectly honest. He could get overwhelmed pretty quickly by certain characters. We need to see his overdrive and like his level of extent before we really can go at it. Because right now the only thing we got is he can manipulate stuff with his alchemy. He's got some good hacks, but even put him up against like I'm trying to think of some of the early characters, because he's absolutely not making it to like Grand Magic Games versions of stuff. I don't think he's even making it to someone like Zero. I think Jalal would, like, even Tower of Heaven, Jalal would kick the shit out of him. I'm trying to think somewhere in that kind of area. I mean, he could deal with some of the Element 4. I mean, unfortunately for him, like, Eden Zero doesn't have a lot of big power level stuff right now. It's mostly on their hacks powers of their ether gears and stuff. Not yet. They don't have a lot of big power level stuff. But, like, we know, even in early Fairy Tail, there were some pretty decent power level stuff, like Jupiter Cannon, Abyss Break. Where are we at right now for Eden Zero? 83? We already had Ethereon. We already had, like, when Natsu destroyed when Natsu uses Fire Dragon King, or his Fire Dragon Fist against Godjill, there was those explosions were actually really big. Like, they were the size of the Phantom Lord mech. As of now, Dragon Joe has few feats. Yeah, it's hard to say, because Eden Zero doesn't have a lot of big power level feats, is the thing. It doesn't have like a lot of big damage stuff. It's mostly on, because like most of Shiki's fights is more emphasized on his mobility more than anything else. We need to get some like, big craters and stuff, big weapons that get blocked and whatnot. Even Naoki Urasawa has many redesigns. Yeah, I know. Like, people are very hypocritical and take double standards when it comes to stuff like that. Rathian Sace are all stated No, they aren't. Rathian Sace are not planetary. They are dangerous. They're not planet level beings. Quit it. Quit that. Yeah, fuck Manga Stream. Manga Stream sucks. Lie to Iron. Yeah, thank you, Lelouch. You're making sense of stuff. I think Justice might have light speed powers. I'm hoping that he has... So my hope is he has attacks kind of like Jalal's, but they're more of like weapons. I want his to be like spaceship artillery. Do you imagine if he, if his things are more of like affecting, if he can kind of like has like different little ships kind of come out, because I assume he's gonna have some form of celestial body variation, similar to the Sieg's celestial magic and Jalal's celestial magic, heavenly body stuff. It's something like, did I say celestial body? Heavenly body. Something like that, but it's the question of how this is going to be different. I would like him just to have some kind of like artillery style to it, some like big, because he's a military guy, so something like that where it's like big weapons, like really big, just fuck all weapons, cannons and stuff. Like what is it? Oh my god, it's not artillery. I'm thinking of ordnance, something like that. That'd be super sick. Some like big spaceship ordnance weapons. I mean, Burn the Witch. Yeah, they look very similar, and then it complained about it. It's like, fuck off, man. So Acnologia's backstory, because I saw it already, but it doesn't change. No, the whole thing about Acnologia, that we found out, especially because it was really cool that it ended up tying to different events in the story that we did know about, like when the dragons are like, oh, we're gonna go check out this dragon slaying magic things, and obviously they got fucked up because they went over to the war that Irene was involved in. That it was like, cool, we didn't need to really know what happened, we can piece stuff together. But Acnologia, he wanted to get stronger as a healer. We knew that craving for power was already in his body, it was already in his mind, but it was to help people. But these dragons who came back and just started, killing everybody just in case, and then he ended up like he didn't remember his name, and that want to help drove into anger and revenge. It started into this much darker emotion, and he ended up turning that drive into a weapon. Ended up learning Dragon Slayer magic, and got to the point where he forgot his name. The fact that his name is actually the original dragon that he hung out with, because it was the only thing he said he wouldn't forget. It was this thing that hurt him, that he hated, that he turned into an absolute weapon of vengeance that really made his character. And then you had the whole thing of like, what did he hate humans and stuff? Well, the humans that were sacrificing other humans to appease these dragons, he thought they were just as bad. He's like, you guys are enabling them. You're making it what they do justifiable. And he hated them all in that as well. And he slowly became what he hated. He became this like apocalyptic destroyer. That was the thing that he was against. He's so much different. He was a man that wanted to heal and help, but he ended up becoming that level of carnage and just massacre and ruin that he wanted to stop. And that was it was so interesting to see him, like, that he became that. Zeref didn't want to be a villain, but he became a villain against his will. Acnologia, became this thing that he was against, but he willingly did it so. He became the thing he wanted to fight against, but in doing so, he became them but worse. I love that about it. That was such a good story. Third Fairy's a movie can easily fit in a time skip between Alvarez and Hunter's Quest. Oh, no, it wouldn't be. It would have to, because they already have. It wouldn't be between that. It would have to be somewhere. Well, not Alvarez or Alvarez rather. The problem is, well, then how is it really gonna play into the larger story? I mean, it could, but I think it would be cooler to maybe have some period of time lapse. Maybe, like, imagine this. This would be cool. Have something happen, like in 100 Years Quest, maybe like an off-screen training period, like a couple weeks past, a couple months where they all train, and then take that period, put that in there. That'd be really cool. I wanted to like have more towards the current story, and because then it would. But overall, as long as they do world building, it'd be pretty cool. Find out more countries, not light speed, but light-based powers, sort of like Sting. I missed it. Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I think it'll be celestial body, or I keep saying that, heavenly body magic. Maybe I should watch Code Geass, even if I haven't already spoiled. Oh, dude, Code Geass is amazing. Yeah, watch Code Geass. No author kills off the main character in early stage. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to kill him off. It's the question of how he lives is really the big thing. Shiki has some big, pretty DC beats like destroying Kurne's robot. I mean, yeah, but that's not like anything really big and commendable to look at. It's not like you can put a number on it. And fairy tale fodder characters, even in the beginning, were able to destroy large buildings. Like even like the Fighting Festival, characters that barely have a name were able to destroy buildings and stuff. And like right now, that's just right now. But we haven't seen any big fights, like big characters like Dragon Joe. So maybe Dragon Joe will show some stuff. Maybe he'll show some stuff. I think we should wait until he has more to work with, because he doesn't have the scaling that someone like any of the Dragon Gods have. Because like, oh, we know for a fact they're at this level. So even though if we haven't seen their feats, we know they should be at a certain degree at the moment. Yeah, it's an exception. Game of Thrones is different. Yeah. Well, Game of Thrones isn't. I guess the primary main character in Game of Thrones was pretty much Jon Snow and Arya and Tyrion and stuff. It wasn't Ned. It just had a lot of parts on Ned. You think Lavilia is from a special rich family for a backstory? I'd be okay with that. I think it'd be cool if maybe she just like was poor and got rich and then it went to her head. Maybe Kuba might come back in the new series. Well, we're supposed to have the Bleach announcement in a couple weeks. Bleach Face Again. I don't know if it's. I'm hoping it's a manga adaptation of the novels. But anyway, it's been about a little over 2 hours. I'm very hungry. Thank you, Kamano, if you're still here. Let me get this. Are you saying that Acnologia is a tragic character that is life? No, it's the fact that he. Let me read that. It sucks that he wasn't expanded upon in the present time, and all that you said it was mostly soft screen and mostly quick and long. Oh, it was a lot of stuff that it run down, but you were able to figure out where it relates in the story. You're able to understand his mindset. You were able to see how these events turned him into the thing that he was trying to destroy. He became this same monstrous being while trying to trying to get rid of them. Because it was the fact that dragons were just so they just did whatever they wanted. They killed all these people. They were such a detriment and so damaging. But that's what he ended up becoming, which was so interesting to see. And that you were able to do it while tying it together to all these different events in the story. We were able to, that, like I said, naming like the war between the dragons. You didn't have to find out, oh, well, what happened when they went over there? Oh, no, we know from, the events happening. Have I watched JoJo? I've watched one, so I've read up to part 3. I haven't watched the anime other than clips. I want to finish setting up, at some point I'm going to finish setting up my Patreon. I want to have I need to find out a website, like a Rabbit or something, where you can do group watching, where we could watch animes together. So I'm saving a bunch of animes that are popular, like JoJo. There's that slime anime I want to watch, but I'm waiting for it. I want to watch things as a group, because I like the idea of Patreon. I want to have a Patreon, and I just want to make a little extra. I don't know. I say like I want to make a little extra cash, but I got that goddamn kimono, man. You're crazy. What's I gonna say? It just as a little extra incentive, because YouTube has been I'm not gonna like say it like it's some tragic thing for me, because it's obviously way worse for other people. But with YouTube's new rules, like the whole COPA thing, the numbers that you would make in YouTube videos has dropped a good chunk. From what I understand, a couple of years ago it was way better. Before that wasn't the adpocalypse. Like I would probably make it a lot more on YouTube, but I just up the little side cash amount. Plus, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun. It'd give me more of a reason to watch some of these whatever hype animes and stuff. Plus, I'd be able to give you guys responses in real time. I don't know. I'd like that. I think it'd be fun, and then I'd be able to upload them to the channel and stuff. But you guys would get first dibs. But we'll see. I need to set that up. I need to get it all kind of like figured out, and then stuff like JoJo, and then we could all kind of group and watch. But it wasn't apparent. Oh yeah, I understand that. I get that. It wasn't apparent it was Jon Snow. It seemed kind of like Ned. I get that 100%. I want to see more of Ignia. Me too. I really like Ignia. Ignia has a lot of potential to be this contrasting point to Natsu. I think more than any of the other characters. And I think the biggest thing about that is the biggest part of Natsu's life with Igneo is the biggest like dark part of Ignia's. And especially when you think of like what Igneo said back in right before he died, when he said that Natsu gave him the power to love another person, and then we found out with Ignea that male dragons don't raise their children. They're not around him at all. It really hit extra, because it's like, oh, that was so nice for Natsu, because you had Natsu's and Igneo's relationship really kind of like spawn something that wasn't supposed to. It's not natural with dragons. The males aren't naturally gonna be there for their children. But then it's like with Ignea, it's like, well, then Natsu got this father figure, this guy who was his dad, to love him, that Ignea didn't get. And I think it's gonna fuck with Ignea's head. And like with Ignea, I think normally the dragons are like, oh, we don't care about not having a dad. But I think it's gonna be like, well, what is so special about him? What was so special about him that he was his dad but not mine? There's a lot with Ignea that I'm really looking forward to. And like I've mentioned before, I really want to see Wendy use Milky Way on Natsu's scarf and summon up Igneo so he can see his son, and then find out about this other son. And then maybe we find out like he knew about him, he just didn't mess with him. I don't know. We need some touchy moments like that. And you're one of the chillest dudes on YouTube. You deserve a Patreon. Oh, thanks, man. I try and be really chill. I like to be very honest. I don't like, and I don't mean this in a hate way, because some of the YouTubers I don't like their style, but I like them. I always get mad at Sammy, if you even know SG Sammy. Really cool guy. He's fun to talk to. He's a bit goofy, but I don't know. He does a lot of clickbait. Well, not a lot of clickbaity videos, but he does a decent amount. And it's like, I don't like to deceive people. I like you can do a little mess around with some stuff, but I don't want it to ever feel like I'm trying to take advantage of people, because I think that the trust is super important. And even if you troll them, too much, they're not gonna believe you. Anyway, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good one. I'm gonna end the stream. I'm very hungry. It's like late. It's almost in the evening, and I haven't eaten at all today. I don't think I actually eat. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't eat breakfast. I don't think I was very hungry, but I am hungry now. Actually, no, I had a snack. I had some pizza bagels or something earlier. But other than that, man, yeah, I'll set that up at some point. I really need to. I might do that today or tomorrow, or at some point. At some point, I have the tier set up, but it's the reward system I have to finish, and I have to justify some because I have the tier for I have a $1 tier, which is just like cool, hang out. Maybe I'll build a YouTube or a Discord for the group. I have a Discord like for a couple people, but I don't really use it a whole lot. But maybe like a one for the channel people, and you guys can all show up and come hang out, cause chaos. But I need to have ones that's justifiable ones. I have like a $1, a $3, $5, and then maybe I want to have a $7 just because, you know, fairy tale reference for the number 7. But I don't really know what it would be. I had to figure it out. I had to figure out some plans. I know it would be like maybe if you guys have any suggestions, I was gonna do like $3 was like the watch team, you know, hang out or something. Maybe no, I don't want to do $5 as the watch team. $5 would have to be something extra on top of that. But anyway, yeah, Sammy's a nice guy. He's a weirdo, but he's a nice guy. What am I gonna eat? Oh, I'm gonna make ramen. I'm gonna make some ramen. I'm gonna heat up some. I got some noodles I got, and I'm going to I'm gonna boil them in chicken broth and put some water, put some garlic and onion salt in there, and then put some chicken, heat them up. Well, I usually air fry it. I got this breaded chicken I cut up and then put it in there. I don't like the cup noodle one very much. I'm gonna buy some. I gotta buy some soon just because I want to stock up on like emergency food in case. I guess it's, well, you only need hot water, so I guess it's pretty emergency if it came down to it. But you know what I mean. Anyway. Other than that, thanks everyone for showing up. Thank you, Kimano, again for your crazy donations. But yeah, until next week, I gotta try and remember to maybe have a group stream next week, do like a Black Clover get together. Not the instant one. I like to make it myself. Well, it's not like I make the noodles. I get the noodles from a store and then make them my own way, and then my chicken and stuff that I make. But other than that, thanks everyone for showing up. Thank you guys. Talk to you next week, and look forward to hearing what we have in the next chapters and stuff. Otherwise, thank you for showing up.